Welcome to the fantasy audiobook. At the beginning, he scolded the principal and awakened the strongest sun god. Chapter 1. The awakening ceremony has officially begun. Please invite the students whose names are called below to come up to awaken their talents. Grade 3, Class 1, Huang Zichao. Arrive. The awakening ceremony is about to begin. I'm so nervous. Me too. I only have a 38% awakening success rate. I don't know if I can successfully awaken my talent. I haven't told you 25% yet, why are you panicking 38%? The awakening square was filled with third-grade students, and almost every student looked nervous. Whether the awakening ceremony can successfully awaken talents, what level and type of talents can be awakened, this is related to whether they can be admitted to a good university, it is very important. In addition, the awakening ceremony was also broadcast live online, and many people watched, including parents and relatives at home. There are also parents of classmates with whom we have bad relationships who are watching. It would be a shame if you didn't awaken your talents, or if you awakened some weaker talents. Huang Zichao, Class 1, Grade 3, Awakening Success Rate is 62%, Awakening B-Level Summoning Talent. Great. Next, Huang Jiaxin, Class 1, Grade 3, Huang Jiaxin, the awakening success rate is 21%, and the awakening failed. Woo, Mom, hey, look, Huang Jiaxin has failed to awaken. It's over, her 21% awakening success rate has failed, then I'm going to be doomed with 20%. As students went up one by one to awaken their talents, the awakening square became noisy. Some people are envious when they see others successfully awakening. Some people see others failing in awakening and snicker with schadenfreude. Parents watching in the live broadcast room were also very nervous. My Binbin is the coolest, it's my Binbin's turn soon. I'm so worried about him. Will he pee his pants? Cry in fear. Don't cry while I'm playing basketball, you're 18 or 19 years old, and you still wet your pants. Your Binbin is so mean, picking her nose. At the same time, the live broadcast rooms of other schools were also very lively. Today's awakening ceremony is not limited to just one or two schools, high schools across the country are conducting awakening ceremonies. Therefore, the live broadcast rooms of some famous schools are very lively. Milk White Shuizi, have you seen it? Xiao Yuchen has awakened the S-level ice element. It's so awesome. Brother, when did you awaken? Xiao Yuchen is indeed the #1 high school student in the country. He is so talented that he might surpass the top 5. Ellie, who loves to wear high-quality clothes, Brother Yuchen is so handsome. I really hope he can be my dormitory manager, so that he can come every day to check on my dues and actual arrivals. Yi Daddy Desai Allen. The next one is Linyong from Class 33 High School. Classmate Linyong, I'm calling you, come up quickly. A kind-hearted classmate saw Linyong in a daze and quickly reminded him. Are you calling me? Okay, I'll go up now. Linyong was confused, and he walked up quietly. ? That kind-hearted classmate was even more confused. No, are you sleepy or something? Have you even forgotten your own name? Linyong walked up the stairs to the awakening platform. There were more discussions in the awakening square below, and many people even laughed sarcastically. Linyong from Class 33. Is he the one whose awakening success rate is only 1 in 1,000? Isn't it him? After taking more than a dozen bottles of awakening potions, he failed to improve the success rate of awakening, and his body is so weak that he can't even lift the desk. He is simply a shame to our school and a waste. Then do you think he will wake up? The success rate of awakening is 1 in 1,000. This is harder than winning the lottery. How can it be possible to awaken? Linyong didn't seem to hear the discussion of those below. Instead, he looked at the awakening stone in front of him and fell into a very confused state. No, where is this? I was lazy and slept for a while, why did I suddenly come here? Linyong cup is about to be burned dry. But as more and more memories emerged in his mind, he finally figured out what was going on. He has traveled through time. This is a world called Blue Star. The level of civilization and technology is similar to the world he was in before. The only difference is that there are ferocious beasts on Blue Star that can destroy cities and even exterminate humans. However, Humans on Blue Star can awaken their talents through an awakening ceremony at a certain age, that is, before graduating from high school, and officially enter the martial arts. Of course, not everyone can awaken successfully. The awakening success rate is the probability of successfully awakening the talent through the awakening stone during the awakening ceremony. Generally speaking, it is difficult for people with less than 30% to successfully awaken. As for the body that Linyong traveled through, this original owner, the success rate of awakening was so low that he wanted to vomit blood. Thousandth. This is too much. And the most terrible thing is that his body seems to be quite weak, and he is already out of breath even when he walks up to the awakening stage. By the way, you don't have a girlfriend either, how could you be so vain? Classmate Linyong, put your hand on the awakening stone. Good. Linyong felt very miserable, but now he had no choice but to bite the bullet. Maybe there will be a miracle, right? Then won't Goldfingers be awarded for any time travel? Maybe Goldfinger is coming soon. Linyong put his hand on the awakening stone, and the awakening stone began to glow. Many students in the audience were holding their breath and concentrating. Do you think there is a 1,000th chance that he will be able to awaken? Many students are a little curious. Judging from the students who have completed the awakening ceremony so far, a female classmate in Class 5, Grade 3, who has the lowest probability of awakening, has only a 12% awakening success rate, but she has barely awakened a field talent. If he has a 10% awakening success rate, it might be possible. But 1 in 1,000, don't even think about it, okay? A handsome male classmate sneered. Yeah, 1 in 1,000, don't even think about it, you won't be able to awaken. Even if he can awaken, he is definitely not as powerful as you, classmate Songjun, who can awaken the S-level earth element. Many students around him looked over, and many others echoed him, with obviously flattering attitudes. There is a reason for this. The one who just spoke is Songjun, one of the few geniuses in their generation who has awakened his S-level talent. Awakened A-level talents are already very powerful, let alone S-level, so they all know in their hearts that Songjun will definitely be admitted to the top university, and then rise to the top and become a strong man. If you don't lick it now, when will you wait? A long-haired girl next to her also noticed the discussion there. She frowned slightly, obviously dissatisfied. But in the end, her eyes returned to Linyong, who was on the awakening platform. With a pious look on her face, she made a prayer gesture. Linyong, you will awaken successfully, come on. On the high platform of awakening, the light of the awakening stone began to dim. The teacher next to him sighed. Many people in the audience, led by Songjun, laughed in succession. I just said he can't awaken. Look, am I right? What classmate Songjun said is that the success rate of awakening is 1 in 1,000. How can it be possible to awaken? I'm afraid he will have to go to the construction site to move bricks in the future. Linyong, who was on the awakening platform, looked a little ugly. He knew what it meant when the light of the awakening stone dimmed, and the awakening would fail. Linyong feels a little sore. His awakening failed as soon as he crossed over, and his body is still very weak. I'm afraid he won't be able to move bricks by then. This is going to be a hell of a start, isn't it? No, where are you in the system? If he doesn't come out, he may die on the construction site in a few days while carrying bricks. Linyong was complaining, and then an electronic notification sound suddenly sounded in his head. The Sun God altar system is being activated. The altar of the Sun God system was successfully activated and system tasks began to be released. Did it really show up? Linyong was so shocked that his mouth opened wide. Just when he was a little curious about what was going on with the Sun God altar system, the system's voice sounded again. Task: scold the principal for being a big fool. Reward: 3 original sacrifices, the strongest God-type talent, Sun God, awakening. What? Scold, call the principal a big fool. Linyong was stunned. Just when he thought he had heard wrongly, a system interface began to appear in front of him. Task: scold the principal for being a big fool. Reward: 3 original sacrifices, the strongest God-type talent, Sun God, awakening. Every word was written clearly and I heard it correctly. Just when Linyong looked a little constipated, the system sound sounded again, and a reminder popped up on the system interface. First mission completion time, 30 seconds. If the task is not completed within 30 seconds, the sun god altar system will be permanently shut down. Ah, Linyong laughed angrily at that time. Not even given time to think about it. Yes, you want to play with me, right? I will stay with you until the end. In terms of IQ, I have never been afraid of anyone. Linyong suddenly took out his mobile phone from his trouser pocket and clicked on a class photo, in which the principal was sitting in the center. Peng Xixian, you are such a fool. Linyong cursed at the principal in the group photo. The tasks given by this system do not say that you must scold the principal himself. As long as the behavior conforms to the task content, isn't it okay? The mission is completed, the original sacrifices are distributed, preparations are made for sacrifices, and talent awakening is carried out. Hey, Sample, you are a little too young to fight with me. Linyong smiled like a winner. When he was a student, he was one of the top academics, with a high IQ, and he was familiar with various types of online novels, so even if he had to compete with the system, he was not weak at all. Bug, who doesn't? Question mark, question mark, question mark. The teacher next to him who was responsible for guiding the students to awaken was stunned for a moment. This classmate seemed to be calling the principal a big fool. Is this because the talent cannot be awakened, so it makes you angry? But this failure to awaken seems to have nothing to do with the principal. The teacher looked a little pained. Or did I hear wrongly? At this time, the awakening stone whose light gradually dimmed began to shine again, and the light became more and more dazzling. Huh, what's happening? Why does the awakening stone light up again? The teacher next to me was a little confused. Normally, once the light of the awakening stone begins to dim, it will gradually disappear and eventually the awakening will fail. But now Linyang's light is shining again, and it is even more dazzling. This is simply contrary to common sense. What the hell, what's going on? Didn't he fail to awaken? Why did the awakening stone light up again? Yeah, it's so strange. Ah, this light is so dazzling, my eyes can't stand it. Many students in the audience were confused, but soon they were blinded by the increasingly dazzling light. At this moment, the sacred light actually illuminated the entire space, making it extremely dazzling. Everyone in the awakening square was so illuminated that they closed their eyes tightly, and the parents and netizens watching in the live broadcast room had to look away and not watch the live broadcast for the time being. My stupid Oduoduo Nima, this light makes my eyes almost go blind. Li Yifeng on the bed. Brothers, put on your sunglasses and have a great experience. At this moment, Linyong found that he had arrived at a huge altar with an ancient atmosphere. Altar. Linyong was a little confused at first, but he quickly realized, system, is this the altar of the sun god? Yes, since you have completed the system task, now start distributing original sacrifices and summoning the sun god. The system voice sounded. Then, Linyong saw 3 human-like rag dolls appearing on the 3 altars of the altar in front. Is this the original sacrifice that summoned the sun god? Linyong always felt that the 3 dolls looked familiar, but he couldn't remember them for a while. At this time, the 3 altars began to light up with golden flames. Wow, the 3 rag dolls started to burn, and soon they were gone. 3 sacrifices, summoning the sun god, why does it sound so familiar to me? Linyong pinched his chin. He was thinking, but suddenly there was a bright light in the air, and the golden dazzling light illuminated the entire space. The next second, a giant flaming bird emitting dazzling golden light slowly landed. Sacred, majesty, like a god, the strongest god system, the sun god, awakened successfully. Wow, is this the sun god? He looks so cool. Linyong looked amazed. At this time, the flames on the giant flame bird faded away, revealing its true body. It was a divine bird that exuded dazzling golden light and was very large. It is obviously a god, but its body feels like a machine. The blood-red eyes give people a feeling of both good and evil, and a sense of oppression. Linyang's eyes suddenly widened. This is not pulled. No pulling, not at all. It's the winged dragon of the sun god. Linyong could finally understand why he felt that the 3 sacrifices summoning the gods were a bit familiar before. This giant flame bird was obviously one of the 3 fantasy god cards owned by the pharaoh in an anime he had seen when he was a child. The 3 sacrifices just now were the special sacrifices of the sun god, the apostles of the sun god. Linyong was also a little shocked. He didn't expect that his talent was actually the winged dragon of the sun god. This was so awesome. Just when he was a little excited, he found that the sun god in midair had changed again, turning into a huge sphere with dazzling golden light. What is going on? How did it become the golden egg state? Linyong was confused at the time. As an anime fan, he certainly knows about this sun god sphere state. If you don't understand the spell, after the sacrifice summons the sun god, you will only get this golden egg state. But the problem is, we are not playing cards now. Is it a bit too cunning to awaken my talent and have to recite spells? And I don't understand what the spell is. System, please explain what is happening and why my sun god has degenerated into a golden egg state. Linyong asked quickly. The sun god who has awakened his talent has a total of 3 forms, the initial form, the advanced form and the strongest form, which respectively correspond to the 3 states that the sun god showed just now. Now the sun god has just been summoned and is in the new stage. He does not have much power yet, so it is currently in its initial form. Initial form. Only then did Linyong remember that the system had previously said that his god-type talent was of a growth type, so there is no need to recite any spells, right? No spell required, just complete the tasks given by the system and earn sacrifices. When the sacrifices contributed reach a certain amount, the sun god will advance and unlock the second form. Linyong only cared about one question. In this initial stage, can I use the sun god's natural power? Awakening talent. In addition to being able to enter the martial arts, the most important thing is the talent power. Just a very simple example, such as awakening the elemental system. Those with awakened thunder talent can use thunder power, and those with awakened fire talent can use fire power. It stands to reason that if he awakens the god system, he should also be able to use the god system talent. The sun god in the initial stage does not have much power, so divine power cannot be used at this stage. However, you can obtain the ability of the sacrifice by sacrificing a sacrifice. Linyang's blood pressure rose after listening to the first half of the sentence. Fortunately, the second half of the sentence successfully attracted his attention. Can you gain sacrificial abilities by sacrificing sacrifices? Can you explain this? Linyong knew that the setting of the sun god winged dragon seemed to be to absorb the attack power of the sacrifices, so he was thinking that if he could become stronger by completing tasks and sacrificing sacrifices, that would not be bad. The system opened an interface with a dazzling array of offerings. Those sacrifices are all in the shape of rag dolls, but each rag doll is different, with various animation characters that Linyong is familiar with, such as a rebellious body with 2 pillars, a refreshing and real man, and so on. Complete the mission and sacrifice the sacrifice, and you will be able to randomly obtain the ability of the sacrifice. For example, if you sacrifice the rice bearer with the strongest painting style, you can obtain the superhuman ability, Shinra Tianzheng. So that's it. Linyong was happy. If this is the case, then it is simply invincible. Linyong was about to ask again if he had unlocked the second form of the sun god before he could use the power of the gods, but at this time, the scene in front of him flickered, and he returned to the awakening square. At this time, the light of the awakening stone had faded, and the surrounding teachers and students slowly opened their eyes. The phenomenon caused by that guy's awakening is too exaggerated, isn't it? What kind of talent has he awakened that can make the awakening stone emit such an exaggerated light? No way he is also an S-level elemental. But when Song Jun and the others awakened the element system just now, the light emitted by the awakening stone was not that exaggerated. Holy crap, could it be that he has awakened a talent that is more powerful than the S-level elemental system? Many teachers and students swallowed their saliva and looked towards the awakening platform with curiosity. Maid, what's going on with that trash? Even Song Jun, who disliked Linyong very much, couldn't help but frown and look over. At this time, Linyang's hand had already left the awakening stone. Now that his divine talent has been awakened, the image of the awakened talent will appear on the big screen. Teacher, I have successfully awakened. Linyong looked cheerful and was about to let the teacher in front of him read out his divine talent. But at this time, the system popped up an interface. Linyong was slightly startled. This seemed to be his current attribute. Level. Fight against the 5 slags. Martial arts practice has not been started. Strength. 80 kilograms. Speed. 100 meters in 11 seconds. Spirit, 60 Hz E. Talent, God system, Sun God. Skills, none. Linyong was a little strange. According to his memory, his previous best result in the 100-meter test seemed to be only 15 seconds. Not to mention his strength, it was difficult to lift the desk. How could he become so much stronger now? Could it be that after awakening his talent, his physique improved? Linyong clenched his fists and found that his body was indeed more energetic than before he woke up, and there was no longer the feeling of being so weak that he was about to cough at any time. Just as he was marveling, he found that the teacher Lu Feng next to him was hesitating and had not announced his talent for a long time. He couldn't help but feel a little strange, so he reminded, "Teacher, I have completed my awakening." Teacher naturally knows that you have completed your awakening, but, your talent. Teacher Lu Feng pointed at the big screen. His expression was a little painful and he seemed a little confused. Teacher, what happened to my talent? Linyong was a little confused. It stands to reason that his Sun God talent is from the divine system, and it is also the strongest divine system. Teacher Lu Feng should be very surprised when he sees it, right? Linyong turned around. His eyes fell on the big screen showing the talent image, and found that his talent image was not the sacred and majestic Sun God, but the golden egg, in its initial state. In addition, the talent information displayed is unknown level talent, information unknown. Unknown level talent, unknown information. What is going on? Many students in the awakening square below also noticed it, and they were also a little confused. From the beginning of the awakening ceremony to now, hundreds of students have completed the awakening ceremony. They have either successfully awakened or failed to awaken. But this is the first time Linyong has awakened his unknown talent like this. Linyong was stunned for a moment. He was not surprised that his talent image was a golden egg. Currently, his Sun God was in its initial stage, and it was indeed in a golden egg state at the altar. But the talent information showed unknown talent, which made him a little confused. Even if the talent information of Sun God cannot be displayed, the divine system should be able to display it, right? Or is it that the world currently does not have the talent branch of God system? Hey, look there, that classmate has actually awakened an unknown talent. What is that round golden sphere? Is it an egg? More and more students saw the golden egg on the big screen. Some were dumbfounded, some were confused, some were curious, and more people were discussing it. TCH, it made such a big noise, I thought something was awakened, but it turned out that it was just an egg that was awakened. Song Jun sneered, his tone full of disdain. PFF'd, classmate Song Jun, your description is too funny, isn't it? I'm so excited, haha, I'm laughing so hard. That doesn't seem to be a description. That loser just woke up. I woke up, ha ha ha, why do you sound so useless? Tisk, I originally thought that Linyong was just physically disabled, but I didn't expect that his awakened talent would be so useless. He is really rubbish. Many students made mocking sounds, and even some unlucky ones who had no awakening talent started to gloat. What's the use of awakening an egg? With such a useless talent, it's better not to awaken it. I think so too. Awakening a useless talent is more uncomfortable than failing to awaken it. Yes, it's so embarrassing. It was as if what they said would make their self-esteem, which had previously failed to awaken, feel better. Linyong was not deaf and could hear more or less. He almost rolled his eyes. You actually turned the majestic Sun God into an egg. Are you not out of your mind? Although it looks like an egg, it is not an egg, right? Just when Linyong was complaining in his heart, the teacher Lu Feng next to him said, "Well, I'm sorry, classmate Linyong, because your talent is a bit special, I will go over and discuss it with the leaders. By the way, classmate Linyong, what is your talent? Do you know?" Teacher Lu Feng felt that Linyong, as the awakener of this talent, would more or less know what was going on with his talent, so to be cautious, he asked Linyong for his opinion first. Teacher, if I said it was a god type, would you believe it? Linyong said, the god system. Okay, the teacher will try to explain it to you. Teacher Lu Feng nodded, and after saying that, he took his mobile phone and went to the side to make a call. Since it was a talent he had never seen before, he had to consult the school leaders and people from the Awakened Association, especially Loudon, the most powerful vice president of the Awakened Association in Chianding City, to finally judge Linyang's talent. Grade. On the high platform, a person from the Awakened Association walked up to the vice president sitting in the center and told Linyang's situation. The vice president glanced at Linyong over there, with a sneer on his lips. Finally, after a minute, teacher Lu Feng put down the phone. Well, classmate Linyong, I have communicated with the school leaders and people from the Awakened Association. Sorry, according to Vice President Lau's professional judgment, he gave a rating of D-level talent, suspected of food. Quote. Teacher Lu Feng said, D-level, suspected food system. Everyone in Linyong was dumbfounded. It is said that his awakening sign is so exaggerated, even more powerful than the element system. If you think about it for a moment, you won't say that it is a D-level suspected food system, right? Teacher, is it possible that the vice president made a wrong judgment? Linyong said. Linyong is really not serious. According to his memory, the level of this talent awakening is related to the admission to university. High-level talents, such as S-level elements, can almost be admitted to top universities in the country. But if you have a low-level C-level or D-level talent, you can only be admitted to some ordinary universities, and even those who are less lucky can only go to some unknown pheasant universities. It is obviously a super S-level god type, but it is said to be a D-level suspected food type. How can he accept this? Teacher Lu Feng wanted to say something, but at this time, people from the Association of Awakeners on the high platform had already picked up the microphone and spoke. Okay, the awakened talent of that student is a D-level suspected food department. Now it is clear, the next one, come on, classmates. It was an announcement for teacher Lu Feng. PFF'd, it's suspected to be a D-level food system. What the hell is this? This is the first time I've heard of someone awakening their food talent. I laughed so hard. What is he going to do after awakening this food talent? Will he sell tea eggs in the future? Ha ha ha, God sells tea eggs. Many students below burst into laughter. D-level food system, what kind of garbage? Song Jun couldn't help but sneer and ridicule. At the same time, the live broadcast room was also crazy. You crazy guy, isn't it? There was such a big noise just now. I thought I had awakened some awesome coaxing talent, but it turned out to be just a D-level talent. I kept a little bit of the original taste talent in food. New South Culinary School welcomes you. In order to attract traffic, some media even published reports one after another about Linyang's awakening to the D-level food system. Of course, their titles are very exaggerated. What caused chaos in the world and awakened D-level talents? Is it the distortion of human nature or the loss of morality? However, there are a few people whose eyes lit up after seeing Linyang's video report. Dad, look at this quickly. A silver-haired girl ran into the principal's office and handed her tablet to the middle-aged man sitting at the desk. God department, I finally found someone who has awakened the God department. God type. The middle-aged man wearing glasses was a little surprised. Really? It's true, it's absolutely true. The light he emits when he awakens is exactly the same as mine. I'm sure he has awakened the divine system, and there is a high probability that it will be stronger than mine. The silver-haired girl looked anxious. Dad, please call that school quickly, don't let other schools take it away. The school bell rang, and countless students walked out of the school gate. The awakening ceremony was over. Many senior high school students, including Linyong, who had completed the awakening ceremony, walked out of the school gate. Among these people, the expressions on their faces almost showed a polarized situation. Either you feel refreshed and happy, or you feel depressed and want to cry without tears. In fact, Linyong could understand that this awakening ceremony was very similar to the college entrance examination in his original world. Whether the talent is awakened and what level of talent is awakened will greatly affect the direction of life. After awakening the S-level talent, one can easily be admitted to top universities. Awakening A-level and B-level talents can be admitted to key universities. Those who have awakened talents of C-level and below can still be admitted to universities, but most of them are ordinary universities that are not top-notch. Of course, the worst thing is those students who fail to awaken. They can't go to college or enter martial arts, so they can only become ordinary people at the bottom. It is no exaggeration to say that graduating from high school is a watershed for many students. Linyong was also a little depressed. It's obvious that a super S-level talent has been awakened, but it is judged to be D-level. This will make everyone unhappy, right? However, he was not too entangled. Even if his talent was judged to be D-level, he could only be admitted to some inferior ordinary universities or even pheasant universities. But he has the golden finger of the sun god altar system, and he can become the top powerhouse in the future. Linyong, are you okay? There was a long-haired girl beside her who was comforting her heartwarmingly. Actually, you don't have to worry so much. You have a 1000th awakening success rate. If you can successfully complete your talent awakening, you are already very powerful. The long-haired girl is very beautiful, with slender eyebrows and smooth skin, and her appearance can rival those of popular female stars in the entertainment industry. She has a waterfall of straight black hair that falls to her buttocks. She is tall, but not slender, but has very good proportions. Under the school uniform skirt, a pair of slender legs in black stockings are very eye-catching. This girl is called Su Yuyan, and she is one of the few friends in Linyong school. In fact, the two have known each other since they were in the first grade of junior high school, and they are considered childhood sweethearts. Although Su Yuyan looks gentle and quiet, she has always been known as a genius in her grade. The qualifications can be said to be rare in history, and the awakening success rate reaches 99.99%. She also awakened her S-level ice talent during the awakening ceremony. Even more powerful than Songjun, who also awakened S-level. After all, the potential and evaluation of ice talent far exceed that of earth talent. Linyong smiled. He was about to say that it was okay, but at this time, a mocking voice came from the side. Hey, isn't this classmate Linyong who has awakened a suspected food talent and pioneered the awakening? You 1000-year-old, the success rate of awakening is 1/3. You finally awakened successfully, but you awakened such a rubbish talent. No university will admit you, right? It was Songjun who spoke. He walked over with a stern expression, obviously coming to ridicule Linyong. Su Yuyan frowned slightly, her expression full of indifference, completely different from before. This has nothing to do with you, does it? TCH. He just hides behind women. He is indeed a loser. Songjun continued to taunt. He was just unhappy with Linyong. Body garbage, awakened talent garbage. Linyong, it seems that your garbage is all round. However, Songjun got one thing wrong. In the past, Linyong had a timid personality and would let him ridicule and bully him. But now, Linyong is a person who will do whatever he wants to do without giving in, so he will not spoil him. Mission: Counterattack. As a reward for the mission, obtain the advanced sacrifice, Unshakable Billion Chulin Brother, and unlock the B-level Thunder skill, Palm Thunder. Oh ho! Linyang's eyes lit up. He didn't expect that the system wouldn't trick him this time. It seems that the system also dislikes this very much. Linyong walked out, pointed at Songjun's nose and yelled, Songjun, do I care about you? What the hell are you rubbish? Your whole family is rubbish. Wow! Many students around him were shocked, especially those in the 3rd grade who knew Linyang's reputation as a waste with a 1000th awakening success rate. They were a little dumbfounded. Linyong actually dares to scold Songjun like this. Is he going to die? Isn't that guy Linyong a loser? How dare he yell at classmate Songjun in public? Did he become tough because he awakened his talent? But it's not scientific. What he awakened was just a D-level suspected food talent. Compared to Songjun's S-level earth talent, he was still rubbish. Su Yuyan was also a little surprised. She felt that Linyong around her seemed different from before. His mouth looked like it had been smeared with honey. You, what did you say? How dare you scold me? Songjun was even more stunned by Linyang's violent output. In the past, when he ridiculed Linyong, Linyong was like a quail, not even daring to fart, but now he responded with 10 times 100 times the firepower, which was beyond his expectation. The mission is completed, and the advanced sacrifice, Unshakable Billion Chulin Brother, is obtained, and the B-level Thunder skill, Palm Thunder, is unlocked. On the altar of the sun god, a rag doll with hair tied up and one finger pointing to the sky appeared on the altar. The altar's holy fire appeared and burned the rag doll in the blink of an eye. What I want to destroy is this sky. A mean-sounding voice sounded, and the rag doll's energy began to be absorbed by the golden egg in midair. Ziz. At that moment, wisps of lightning power began to appear from everywhere in Linyang's body, and his expression became a little excited. He's not crazy. Now that he has gained the power of Thunder Palm, that powerful feeling arises spontaneously, as if even if there are 100 Songjuns on the opposite side, he can easily defeat them all. What's wrong with scolding you? If you dare to provoke me again, I'll whip you in minutes. Linyong said domineeringly. Wow, this once again shocked the surrounding students. Is Linyong crazy? How dare he talk to Songjun like this? He has awakened his talent and overexpanded it, right? If he dares to provoke Songjun like this, he is probably seeking death, right? It's not that the classmates around him look down on Linyong. Songjun has always been one of the two geniuses in their third year of high school. He has excellent qualifications, has an awakening success rate of 95%, and has also successfully awakened the S-level earth element. Even though she is slightly inferior to Su Yuyan, the genius on the first day, she is almost like a fault among other students. On the other hand, Linyong was so weak that he was out of breath even after running a few steps. Wouldn't it be cruel to challenge Songjun in this situation? Slap me, right, okay, then I want to see who slaps whom. Songjun was angry and rushed towards Linyong. He originally wanted to bully Linyong before he graduated. Now that Linyong is provoking him at all costs, what a rare opportunity is this. He will definitely give Linyong a hard time. Songjun's speed is not slow. Even though he has just awakened his talent and has not officially entered the martial arts, his extraordinary qualifications and physical fitness are far superior to ordinary people. It is no exaggeration to say that if someone has not awakened his talent and entered the martial arts, he may not be his opponent even if 5 of them fight one. Linyong smiled. Songjun's speed is not bad, but no matter how fast it is, can it be as fast as thunder and lightning? Thunder in the palm. Linyong raised his right hand and immediately gave a cold shout. The space emits a dazzling light, and a bolt of thunder and lightning bursts out. Ah! Songjun screamed, flew out, and then fell heavily to the ground. His whole body was smoking, his face was darkened, and even his hair turned into an afro. He looked like he had been struck by lightning, and he was extremely embarrassed. This scene shocked the surrounding students. Thunder type. Holy shit, am I dazzled? That loser with a 1000th awakening success rate actually defeated Songjun, one of the two geniuses in our school, with one move. This is fake. Thunder element. What's going on? Didn't he awaken the D-level food element? How did he become the S-level thunder element? Yes, and the most outrageous thing is that he can actually use the power of lightning. How did he do it? The students who were watching were all shocked by Linyang's palm thunder move, and all of them had dumbfounded expressions. Su Yuyan was also surprised. Linyong, how could you? I'm just asking you, are you surprised? Linyong chuckled. With just one move, Songjun, who has been taunting him in a weird way all day long, feels so good. I thought you were not in a good mood just now, but it seems I was worrying too much. Su Yuyan smiled, but she was also a little confused. But what's going on with your thunder element? Could it be that you have two elements? No, actually my talent. Linyong was about to explain, but at this moment, a female teacher ran in from the crowd. What happened? The female teacher is Wu Peishui, the head teacher of Linyang's class. She just walked out of the school gate and saw so many students gathered here, and there seemed to be an explosion of thunder power, so she immediately came over to check the situation. It's great that you're here, Teacher Wu. This Linyong is so mean. I was just joking with him just now, but I didn't expect that he not only cursed at me, but also attacked me with thunder. My whole body hurts now. Quote. Songjun looked aggrieved, and the villain complained first. What did you say? Classmate Linyong used the thunder element to attack you. Teacher Wu Peishui was obviously a little stunned. Teacher Wu, don't listen to his nonsense. It was Songjun who provoked Linyong first, and it was him who rushed over and wanted to hit Linyong, so Linyong took action. Su Yuyan frowned. Wu Peishui thought for a moment, then looked at the other students around her. Wu Pei, Li Fei, Zhu Ming, you were all here when the incident happened, right? Tell me what happened. Those 3 classmates were all students in class 33, senior high school, and were classmates of Linyong. Teacher, actually Su Yuyan made it very clear just now, so we don't need to say it again. The three classmates laughed dryly. So, it was student Song Jun who provoked classmate Linyong first, and then he wanted to hit someone, so classmate Linyong took action, right? Wu Peishui squinted her eyes and looked at the other students who were watching. Hey, you guys quickly deny it, you're denying it. Song Jun was anxious and kept winking at those classmates. Yes, teacher. However, most of the students ignored Song Jun and nodded one after another. In their opinion, Song Jun is indeed very awesome, having awakened the S-level earth element, but the problem is, Linyong is even more awesome. Linyong can now use the power of thunder. How can you, Song Jun, be considered a dir in front of Linyong? Let us take the risk of having our lies exposed and offending Linyong by lying for you, a troublemaker. Do you think we are stupid? Let me just say, student Linyong is so quiet and well-behaved, why would he take the initiative to hit someone? Wu Peishui nodded, and these words made Song Jun's face twitch. Quiet, good. Teacher, did you not hear how dirty he was scolding just now? Song Jun, please submit an 800-word review to me tomorrow morning. Wu Peishui looked serious. Why, it's obvious. Student Song Jun, you don't have to write it. But if you dare, I will report this matter to the Academic Affairs Office, and then you can wait to delay your graduation. Quote. Song Jun didn't dare to beep anymore, said, I know, and left in disgrace. Linyong felt quite happy in his heart. The world was quite fair in dealing with disputes. Whoever caused trouble first and took action first would be responsible. Even if you were beaten, it is you who provoked others first, your problem. On the other hand, the world he lived in his previous life was always in conflict or at odds with each other, leaving people unable to complain. Linyong, come to the office with me. Wu Peishui looked at Linyong. Linyong was a little surprised. Is this going to be a 50-50 game each? No way. Don't worry, I don't mean to cause trouble for you, I just want to know about your situation. Wu Peishui gave Linyong a reassuring look. Didn't you keep saying before that what you awakened was not the D-level food system, but the God system? Hiss. Linyong became excited at that time. Okay, Teacher Wu, while the principal and the others haven't gotten off work yet, why don't we stop going to your office and go to the principal's office? In fact, after Linyong came down from the stage of awakening, he considered that the level of talent determination would greatly affect college admissions, so he immediately went to his class teacher Wu Peishui and said that his talent was not a D-level food department but a super talent. S-level talent divine system. Unfortunately, Wu Peishui had not heard of the talent branch of the divine system, and Linyong had not yet obtained the Palm Thunder at that time, so he could not come up with a good way to prove it. Therefore, even if Wu Peishui complained to the school at that time, the school did not believe it. On the other hand, now that Linyong can use the power of thunder, this may be his chance to turn the situation around. Let's go to my office first. The awakening ceremony has just ended, and the principal and others are very busy. Wu Peishui said nothing more, turned around and walked away. Fine. Linyong curled his lips and didn't worry too much. Anyway, as long as he completes the self-certification, the principal will also receive a notification. Yu Yan, it may take a long time for me to get here. You should go back first. Linyong said hello to Su Yuyan, and then left with Wu Peishui. There were many classmates around, especially female classmates. Their eyes lit up as they looked at Linyang's retreating figure. Is it my imagination? Why do I feel that classmate Linyong is so much more handsome now? Yes, when classmate Linyong defeated Song Jun with the power of thunder just now, he was really handsome to me. I think he is so charming. Linyong was not deaf and could hear somewhat, which made him happy. In fact, he is not bad looking, and he is even outstanding in appearance and figure. If he hadn't been too weak before, with his appearance and condition, I'm afraid there would be many girls trying to make him weak. Soon, Linyong came to Wu Peishui's office. Wu Peishui sat on the chair. Classmate Linyong, you used the thunder element to defeat Song Jun, right? Can the teacher see your thunder element power? Sure. After Linyong finished speaking, he stretched out his palm and condensed strands of thunder and lightning power in his palm. It's indeed the thunder element. Wu Peishui narrowed her eyes and asked again, now you can release the power of thunder, right? Can you let the teacher see how powerful it is? Yes, but where can I fight? Linyong looked around the office and didn't see anything where he could make a move. After all, there are a lot of documents in the office. If he accidentally ignites any documents, he will be guilty of a serious crime. Fine. Wu Peishui stood up and straightened her chest. Just come to the teacher. What? Yes, to the teacher. Linyong was a little dumbfounded. He was thinking that his beautiful class teacher must have awakened some strange attributes, right? Yes, the teacher wants to see how powerful your thunder element is. Wu Peishui nodded. But teacher, this thunder and lightning is quite powerful. If you get electrocuted. Linyong felt a little dangerous. Classmate Linyong, are you looking down on the teacher a bit? Wu Peishui smiled relaxedly and had a confident expression. Don't look at the teacher like this. After all, the teacher is also a third-level awakener. With your newly awakened thunder power, you can't hurt the teacher. After saying that, Wu Peishui waved her right hand, and a translucent energy barrier immediately appeared in front of her. I'm not bragging, teacher. I'm only using 10% of my strength now, and your thunder power can't hurt me. Wu Peishui smiled and said, stop inking, quickly release your thunder power, and let the teacher see where you are now. That's okay. Linyong was no longer entangled. He felt that the B-level thunder skill, Palm Thunder, should not be considered a very powerful move. With the strength of the beautiful teacher's third-level awakened person, coupled with the natural strength, he could withstand the Palm Thunder. The damage shouldn't be a problem. Teacher, please be careful, I'm coming. Linyong warned, and then released a Palm Thunder at Wu Peishui. Wu Peishui's energy barrier was indeed good, neutralizing 80 to 90% of the power of Linyang's Palm Thunder. But maybe it was because Wu Peishui underestimated Linyong and only used about 10% of her strength. The energy barrier failed to completely block all the thunder and lightning power of the Palm Thunder. A small part of the thunder and lightning power passed through the energy barrier and fell on her. Ah! Wu Peishui was so shocked that she screamed. Hiss! Linyong took a deep breath. He felt that this beautiful head teacher seemed to have awakened some strange attributes. Wu Peishui also realized that she had lost her composure. Her face turned red, and she quickly coughed twice in a serious manner. Ahem, classmate Linyong, your thunder power can barely break through the protective barrier of 10% of the power, which is not bad. Quote. Teacher, is it okay to evaluate my talent level? Linyong only cares about one issue, and that is whether he can modify the level of his awakening talent. After all, it is difficult for a serious university to admit AD-level talent in the food department. Classmate Linyong, I also want to know more about your God system. Wu Peishui dispersed the energy barrier with a curious expression. What is your God-type talent like? Why can you use the power of the Thunder-type talent? Teacher, in fact, my God-type talent is a full attribute talent. In other words, I can awaken and use any type of talent. Not long ago, I awakened the Thunder system for the second time, so I can use the Thunder system. The power of talent. Linyong thought there was nothing wrong with his statement. As long as he completes the system tasks, he can obtain various powerful powers by sacrificing sacrifices. It can be anything from thunder to fire to ice to elemental to superhuman. This is truly a complete set of attributes. No, he also left out the most important thing, the divine system. As long as the Sun God completes the advancement, he can use the power of the Sun God. So strictly speaking, he has divine attributes plus all attributes. Can any type of talent be awakened a second time? Classmate Linyong, your God type is a bit outrageous. Wu Peishui took a breath, somewhat shocked. It is impossible to say that I have never doubted it, but now that Linyong can indeed use the power of thunder, then the awakening of thunder should be true, which greatly increases the credibility of Linyang's words. So, teacher, do you believe it? Linyang's face lit up with joy. If Wu Peishui believes that he has really awakened the divine system, then there may be no chance of modifying his talent level. Teacher believes in you, but I'm sorry, classmate Linyong, the teacher cannot modify the awakening information in the awakening ceremony. Wu Peishui looked a little apologetic, because the awakening information in the awakening ceremony is based on the comprehensive evaluation of the awakening stone, school leaders and the awakened person association, and the teacher does not have the authority to modify it. Besides, it's a bit late to find the principal now. Firstly, the people from the Awakened Association have gone back, and secondly, the awakening information has been submitted. Even if the principal himself comes forward in person, it will be difficult to make changes. But classmate Linyong, you don't have to worry too much. The teacher has other ways to help you. Wu Peishui smiled. What can I do, teacher? Linyang's eyes lit up. Actually, it's just some stupid methods. Wu Peishui took out a university application guide. Teacher, I am not a big shot, but I have some connections. As long as I can recommend it to you in my personal name, Linyong has awakened the thunder element and has already, judging from the fact that you can use the power of thunder, you can still get into some good colleges through recommendation interviews. Quote, although they are not as famous as Imperial University and Shanghai University, they are still from some good schools. Linyong nodded repeatedly. He was about to thank Wu Peishui when Wu Peishui's cell phone rang. Wu Peishui made a, wait a minute, gesture to Linyong, and then answered the phone. Principal, you have something to do with me. What? Okay, I understand. Wu Peishui put down her phone and her expression became excited. Great, classmate Linyong, good news, you have good news. What good news? Linyong was a little curious. Could it be that the talent information can be modified? No, there is a school that has noticed you. They have extended an olive branch and hope you can enroll in their school. Wu Peishui looked excited. Really? Linyong was happy, but immediately felt a little strange. But according to the talent information reported by the school, I only awakened AD-level suspected food department, and today so many schools across the country are carrying out awakening rituals, why are they? Will you pay attention to me? He was wondering if that school was really some kind of new Southern Culinary Institute, and it wanted him to be a chef and cook, golden eggs. The teacher is not sure about this, but I can be sure that they are definitely serious. And if you, Linyong, apply to their school, it might be better than going to Imperial University or Shanghai University. Wu Peishui said, because the school you are paying attention to is also a very outstanding institution in the country. Although its ranking is not as good as Tiandu University and Shanghai University of Magic, and has been ranked 8th to 10th for a long time, everyone's evaluation of it is even higher than the number 1 Tito University. The ranking is not as good as Tito University, but the evaluation is higher than Tito University. Linyong was stunned for a moment, then he seemed to have thought of something, and his eyes suddenly lit up. Teacher, that school, could it be the Cultivation Academy of the Gods? Yes, it is the Gods Training Academy. Wu Peishui nodded. Hiss. It's really true. Linyong took a breath, a little shocked. What level of school is the Gods Training Academy? Perhaps the scale of the school and the number of teachers are not as good as those of Tiandu University and Shanghai University of Finance and Economics, or even a little different. But its success rate, that is, the probability of cultivating students into high-level awakened beings, is higher than the number 1 Imperial University. During the graduation season every year, among the graduates who come out of the Gods Training Academy, the number of those who are 3rd level awakened or above can reach 95%, which is higher than the 89% of Imperial University and 100% of Magic University. 78 is much higher. In addition, in the annual College Student Awakening Competition, the Gods Training Academy can achieve good results that are not inferior to Imperial University. Even in the past 5 years, the Gods Training University has won 3 championships in the College Student Awakening Competition, and now it has won 2 consecutive championships. From these 2 situations, we can see how strong the Gods Training Academy is. This is also the reason why the paper strength of Gods Training Academy is obviously not as good as Imperial University and Demon City University, but it is better in terms of evaluation. The principal just told me that the Gods Cultivation Academy has asked for your contact information and home address, and said that school leaders will be sent to your home to interview you. Send the school leaders directly to my home. Is this such an exaggeration? It is indeed a bit exaggerated, but it also shows that the Gods Training Academy attaches great importance to you, classmate Linyong. Wu Peishui thought for a while. The teacher thinks that maybe the Gods Cultivation Academy has noticed that your awakened talent is the divine system. Even if not, there is a high probability that I saw that your awakened talent is extraordinary, so I immediately wanted to send someone over to recruit you. Should be. Linyong nodded, agreeing with Wu Peishui's statement. The Gods Cultivation Academy must have noticed that his talent was extraordinary, so they sent the school leaders over to interview him. This shows that people have good eyesight. Unlike the school leaders in his school and those in the Awakened Association, whose eyes seemed to be used for decoration, the phenomenon of awakening was so exaggerated that it could give him AD-level food-related talent. It was really screwed up. Then, classmate Linyong, will you go to the Gods Training Academy? Wu Peishui asked curiously. Teacher, do you think I wouldn't be interested in a key university comparable to Imperial University? Linyong smiled. They have directly sent school leaders over, which shows how sincere they are. If there were no unexpected circumstances, he would definitely choose the Gods Cultivation Academy. The Cultivation Academy of the Gods is not bad. Wu Peishui raised her lips slightly and said half-jokingly, Classmate Linyong, from now on you will be a student of the Gods Cultivation Academy. From now on, you will be very successful, but don't forget me, teacher. Teacher, what you said is a bit narrow-minded. Linyong smiled and joked. Even if a beautiful lady like teacher doesn't become famous in the future, I won't be able to forget her. You want to die, how dare you molest the teacher? Wu Peishui suddenly stood up and waved her fist, as if she wanted to beat Linyong. It's just a joke. Teacher, weren't you kidding me just now? Linyong said with a smile. You are so immoral at such a young age. Wu Peishui pursed her lips and looked at her watch. Okay, it's getting late. You should go home. Okay, see you tomorrow then. Linyong waved his hand and left the office after speaking. Wu Peishui sat down again, turned her face, looked at the class photo on the table, and finally her eyes fell on Linyong. Is it my imagination? Why do I feel that Linyong is different from before? Wu Peishui pinched her chin. Besides, he seems to have become more handsome. Is it because I have awakened the divine system and become more confident? But I really didn't expect that this boy would actually tease girls. Speaking of this, Wu Peishui's face turned red. Could it be that he didn't show his real face before and was shy on the surface, but he was actually a Neptune? Well, that should be the case. He looked so weak before, maybe it's because, hiss. Walking out of the school gate, Linyong rode on his bicycle. Under the setting sun, the boy hummed a song, opening his hands from time to time and enjoying the wind blowing on his face, which was comfortable and romantic. At this time, a wisp of memory came to him, and Linyong sped up to go home. In his previous life, his parents passed away very early. The parents in this world are exactly the same as his parents in his previous life, both in appearance and personality. How long has it been since you last seen your parents? It seems to have been 15 or 16 years, right? But something doesn't seem right. Well, 10 hours. Long time no see, I miss you so much. When he got home, Linyong found that his parents had cooked a large table of dishes. There are 4 main courses of meat alone: salt and pepper bones, roast goose, fried chicken legs, and flavored fried fish. They are all what he likes to eat. There are also braised eggplant, fried pork with green pepper, fried sausage with broccoli, and a corn radish pork rib soup. Linyong was stunned. Dad, Mom, is it the Chinese New Year? Or are there guests? Why are you cooking so many dishes? No, this is not to celebrate your successful awakening, but to reward you. Father Lin Dao smiled and encouraged. Although I have only awakened AD-level talent, it is still very good. Xiaoyang, are you hungry? Come sit down and eat. Mother Wu Li is also smiling. Linyong was a little strange at first, but soon he understood why his parents were so excited. Originally, his awakening success rate was only 1,000th. It is no exaggeration to say that it would be difficult to awaken his talent. But now, he has successfully awakened. This is a great joy for his parents who originally had low expectations. It is normal to celebrate. By the way, Xiaoyang, have you decided which school to apply to? When Linyong sat down, Lin Dao said, if you haven't already, Dad has a good recommendation, which is this Northern Shaw Training Academy. Lin Dao handed over a school leaflet. Dad had a good friend when he was a child. Now he is doing well and is the director of this school. As long as Dad tells him, he should be able to let you go to this school. Go to school. Linyong was stunned for a moment. He didn't expect that his father had already asked his connections to help him find a good school. Of course, he also understood what was going on. It was obvious that his parents had watched the awakening ceremony and knew that it would be difficult for him to enroll in a good school with his D-level talent, so they had already found a way out. To be honest, Linyong was quite moved. Whether it is the world in the past life or the current world, even if there is a relationship, it will cost money to go through the back door. Especially in this world where the strong are respected, it is very difficult to enter the University of the Awakened through the door without having to pay 150,000 or 200,000. However, my family is not rich, so if I want to suddenly spend such a large amount of money, I am afraid I will have to find someone to borrow money from everywhere. Moreover, when the time comes for the interview with Guan, my father will also need to beg for help in a humble manner. This is not what Linyong wants to see. Linyong was about to tell his father that the Gods Training Academy had contacted the school to admit him in advance, but at this moment, there was a sudden knock on the door. Coming. Mother Wooly went to open the door. Sorry to bother you, does Linyong live here? A middle-aged man in uniform walked in. He had a smile on his face and gold-rimmed glasses. His speech and behavior gave people a sense of elegance. The uniform he wears is a bit special, with a black and red robe, which feels a bit like a medieval European missionary. The bespectacled man wore a medal on his chest. The logo on it was so eye-catching that Linyong recognized it at a glance. That is the school medal of the Gods Training Academy. Hiss. Linyong was shocked at that time. Is this coming? Is it a little too fast? From the clothes of the bespectacled man and the medal on his chest, Linyong could tell that he was from the Gods Cultivation Academy, and most likely the school leader. But he originally thought that for the awakening ceremony held this afternoon, the Gods Training Academy would not come to him until tomorrow, no matter how fast it was. Unexpectedly, they would already come to your door this evening. This efficiency is a bit amazing, old man. Yes, Linyong lives here, who are you? Wooly didn't recognize the school medal of the Gods Cultivation Academy, but she could also tell that the other person was dressed in an extraordinary way and was probably not an ordinary person. I am the vice president of the Gods Training Academy, Zhou Lin. You should be the mother of classmate Linyong, right? Zhou Lin smiled. The Training Academy of the Gods. When Lin Dao heard this, he was a little surprised and stood up from his seat. You are the vice president of the Gods Training Academy. Wu Li was also a little scared. Yes, is classmate Linyong at home? Zhou Lin smiled and nodded. Yes, he is eating. Vice President Zhou, please come in. Wu Li was a little confused and quickly got out of the way, asking Zhou Lin to come into the house. She is not exaggerating. She has never seen such a big figure in her entire life. Zhou Lin walked in, and Lin Dao did not dare to neglect at all. Vice President Zhou, please sit down. He knew what level of school the Gods Cultivation Academy was. It was no exaggeration to say that it was not inferior to Imperial University and Demon City University, and was one of the top universities in the country. Now that the school leaders are visiting directly, he can't lose etiquette. Hello, Vice President Zhou. Linyong seemed much calmer. He nodded politely to Zhou Lin. I originally thought that your school would come over tomorrow. I didn't expect you to come at night. In his previous life, Linyong was a company executive who had worked hard in the workplace for 6 or 7 years and achieved some success. He was very mature both in terms of personality and behavior. In addition, the school has notified him that the Gods Training Academy will visit him, so naturally he will not be too panicked. Zhou Lin nodded secretly, with appreciation in his eyes. He has such grace at such a young age, what a great guy. The parents next to them were a little surprised. Lin Dao couldn't help but ask, Xiaoyang, did you already know that Vice President Zhou would come over? That's right, because the school informed me before school ended. Linyong rubbed the back of his head and said with a smile, actually, I wanted to tell you just now, but I didn't expect Vice President Zhou to arrive so soon. In fact, he was also a little surprised by the efficiency of the Gods Training Academy. Even though the Gods Training Academy is in Guangzhong City, right next door to Qianding City, it was confirmed that he would be admitted in advance in less than 3 hours, and he was already at his doorstep. This speed is really incredible. Ah, so that's it. Only then did Lin Dao understand, and he became a little excited. The school notifies you, and then the vice principal comes to visit you personally. 9 times out of 10, this is a matter of admission. Xiaoyang, your mother and I are going to buy some things first. Please greet Vice President Joe well. Lin Dao said, winking at his wife. Then the two left. The vice dean came to visit him specially. He must have something important to discuss with his son, so they two outsiders must be discerning. Vice President Joe, please have tea. Linyong poured tea for Zhou Lin. Thanks. Zhou Lin smiled, picked up the teacup, and sipped the tea. I know that Lin Yang's family is going to have dinner, so I won't delay Linyong for too long. Let's get straight to the point. After speaking, Zhou Lin took out a document from his briefcase and placed it in front of Linyong. Classmate Linyong, we know that you have awakened a very powerful talent, so we want you to enroll in our God's Cultivation Academy. Of course, we will also give you a condition that satisfies classmate Linyong. Zhou Lin smiled. Linyong opened the document and found that it was a special recruitment contract. The content inside is about how many scholarships and training resources he can get every year if he enrolls in the God's Cultivation Academy. This surprised Linyong. He felt that Zhou Lin was very sincere by coming here in person. He didn't expect that the God's Cultivation Academy would actually offer such good conditions in order to admit him. Vice President Zhou, can I ask you a few questions? Linyong raised his eyes. Now he had many questions in his mind. I know what classmate Linyong wants to ask. Don't you think it's strange why our God's Training Academy actually sent me, the deputy dean, to come in person for AD level talent, and even gave you such a superior gift? I'm a little confused about the enrollment requirements, right? Zhou Lin pushed up his glasses with his index finger. Linyong nodded. I won't beat around the bush. In fact, one of the main reasons is that we can see that your talent, Linyong, is not only not AD level talent, but also a Super S level talent that not even one person in 100 million people can have. It is a godlike talent. Hiss. Linyong was shocked at that time. How did you see it? It is not surprising to see that his awakening talent is unusual. After all, the awakening phenomenon he caused at that time was quite exaggerated. But it was obvious at a glance that he had awakened the divine system, which shocked him. As far as the current talent catalog is concerned, it seems that there is no divine system, right? Zhou Lin smiled mysteriously. We can't tell you this until classmate Linyong agrees to enroll in our God's Cultivation Academy. As for why our God's Training Academy specially sent me here, it's very simple. Although most people can't see how powerful your awakened talent is, there will still be a small number of people who can. Even if they may not be able to see that it is the strongest Super S level talent, a God-type talent, they can subconsciously realize that this talent is extraordinary. In this case, most of them are willing to take out a less important spot. Let's take a gamble. At this point, Zhou Lin raised his eyes. Tonight, until tomorrow, fill in your application form, and Linyong, you will receive invitations from some universities one after another. Once we are late, Linyong, you will be snatched away by other schools. Is this so? Linyong didn't believe it at first. He thought Zhou Lin was worrying too much. However, the next second, his mobile phone on the table rang, and there was a call. Linyong picked up the phone and found that it was an unfamiliar number. Hey, what? Okay, I will think about it. After putting down the phone, Linyong looked at Zhou Lin with a change in his eyes, becoming a little admired. Yes, Zhou Lin really got it right. The person who called him just now was a university, and that university was ranked 6th in the country, Tiandu University, above the God's Cultivation Academy. That was a call from the admissions department, saying that Tiandu University was interested in recruiting outstanding students like him. If he applied to Tiandu University, he would not only be among the first batch to be admitted, but would also be provided with a first-class scholarship. Student Linyong should understand now, right? Zhou Lin smiled. Everyone wants to get outstanding talents. But I think the sincerity and conditions provided by our God's Training Academy are unmatched by other schools. Therefore, Linyong may wish to consider our school chant. Oh, by the way, as to why our God's Cultivation Academy knew that Linyong awakened from the divine system, I originally planned to wait for Linyang's consent before telling you. But now, I think I can tell you in advance. Quote. Having said this, Zhou Lin raised the corner of his mouth slightly. There is a student in our God's Cultivation Academy who has awakened the divine system. The light emitted by her awakening talent is exactly the same as the light you emitted at that time, classmate Linyong. No wonder, it turns out to be like this. Linyong took a breath, and he was a little surprised. It turned out that he was not the only one who had awakened the God system. So when Linyong enrolls in our school, not only will he be able to obtain superior conditions that other schools cannot provide, but our God's Cultivation Academy also has experience in cultivating God's talents, which will definitely allow you, Linyong, to go faster and be better. Higher and farther. Zhou Lin looked confident. Linyong nodded. Indeed, whether it is sincerity, the conditions given, or training experience, the God's Cultivation Academy is his best choice. He has no reason to refuse. Task: reject Zhou Lin. Reward: obtain advanced sacrifices, perfect brother, 1 against 7, unlock B-level fire skills, powerful fire balls. Linyong laughed at that time. System, what the hell are you? Linyong was also drunk. 3 missions, and he was tricked twice. Now he is about to apply to the top school, the God's Cultivation Academy, but at this time, he is asked to reject Zhou Lin. Isn't this a clear trick on him? Fortunately, Linyong is not stupid. If the system wants to trick him, he will just get stuck. Classmate Linyong, I didn't expect your dinner to be so sumptuous. Can I get a chicken leg to try this scallion chicken? Zhou Lin had long been attracted by the sumptuous food on the table. In addition, he hadn't had dinner yet, so he was a little hungry and wondered if he could eat a chicken drumstick to satisfy his craving. Vice President Zhou, this drumstick belongs to me. Linyong looked serious. ? Zhou Lin was stunned at that time. Is this classmate Linyong so protective of food? I can't tell. Complete the mission, obtain the advanced sacrifice, perfect brother 1 versus 7, unlock B-level fire skills, and the powerful fire ball. Haha, do you really think it's hard to get me? You're kidding. Linyong raised the corners of his mouth. The system asked him to refuse Zhou Lin, and it didn't say that he had to refuse to join the God's Training Academy. This refusal to eat chicken legs is also a refusal. A rag doll wearing a long cloak and melancholy eyes appeared on the altar of the sun god altar. Forgive me, Sass, this is the last time. A doting and melancholy voice sounded, then the holy fire was lit, the rag doll began to burn, and a force soared up, and was eventually absorbed by the huge golden egg in midair. Linyang's eyes trembled, and he immediately felt a surge of fire power in his body, and his body felt warm. But he was also a little regretful. The other skills in 1 versus 7 were so good, so why was he only given an ordinary fire ball? This sacrifice will be gone after it is burned. Giving him a Susano would be better than a Go Fireball. This random skill is a bit tricky. This chicken drumstick is mine. Vice President Zhou, please eat this. Linyong smiled and used chopsticks to pick up another scallion chicken drumstick for Zhou Lin. ? Zhou Lin was even more confused. No, is there a difference? He looked at the chicken drumstick that Linyong was picking up now. It seemed that it was no different from the drumstick that he had just noticed. No need, classmate Linyong, I was just joking. Don't be polite, Vice President Zhou, your stomach is growling. Okay, then I'm not welcome. Zhou Lin picked up the chicken leg and started eating it. Oh, classmate Linyong, this scallion chicken is delicious, not inferior to those big restaurants. Zhou Lin sighed while eating. He saw that Linyong had picked up the special recruitment contract, and a smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. Classmate Linyong, have you decided to enroll in our God's Training Academy? That's for sure. Your school's sincerity is obvious to all. If I didn't consider this, I would be stupid. Linyong said and already picked up the pen. He has already read the special recruitment contract. There are no problems and he can sign it. I have no choice, the offer is too much, I can't refuse it. Of course, in addition to the sincerity of the God's Cultivation Academy and the excellent conditions provided, what is more important is that the God's Cultivation Academy has experience in cultivating the gods, which is unmatched by other schools. Seeing Linyong finish signing, Zhou Lin stood up and extended his hand with a smile on his face. Classmate Linyong, welcome to join our God's Cultivation Academy. Linyong took a look. Well, not the hand holding the drumstick. Linyong handed over the special recruitment contract, then shook hands with Zhou Lin. Thank you for your school's appreciation. Zhou Lin took out the envelope from his briefcase and handed it to Linyong. Classmate Linyong, inside are your admission notice and student card. We hope that classmate Linyong will report to school after the graduation ceremony tomorrow and the day after tomorrow. Report the day after tomorrow. So soon. Linyong was stunned for a moment. Classmate Linyong, maybe what I said is a bit exaggerated, but your arrival is related to a century-old plan of our college. Zhou Lin smiled. Tisk, why are you drawing a pie while talking? Linyong worked hard in the workplace for 5 or 6 years in his previous life, so Linyong has a very keen sense of smell. Although he smelled the smell of pie, he didn't get too entangled. Okay, then I will report to your school the day after tomorrow. Anyway, even if I don't report the day after tomorrow, I still have to report for the graduation ceremony a week later, so I might as well go early. Yes, there are only 7 days of vacation from graduation from high school to college. To be precise, these 7 days are not considered holidays. Just from students filling in their application, to the school starting the enrollment process, to the final successful admission and issuance of admission notice, the whole process takes some time to process. These 7 days are the time for various colleges and universities to process admissions. After the admission process is completed, the new students will set off to report to school. Because most human beings can only enter martial arts and practice martial arts after awakening their talents, so time is precious, and they must enter school almost right after graduation. Okay, classmate Linyong, we'll see you the day after tomorrow. See the vice president the day after tomorrow. Zhou Lin left, and after a while, his parents came back. They were very excited when they knew that Linyong had been admitted to the Cultivation Academy of the Gods. After taking a shower, Linyong returned to the room, and his consciousness entered the altar of the Sun God. The Sun God, above the altar is still in the state of a golden egg, but the light it emits is obviously more dazzling than before. System, how long will it take for my Sun God talent to advance? Linyong came to the Sun God altar mainly because he still had some unclarified questions about the Sun God. The condition for the advancement of the Sun God is not time, but depends on the number of sacrifices contributed. The number of sacrifices. Linyong was stunned for a moment, then became a little excited. That is to say, as long as a certain number of sacrifices are sacrificed, the Sun God will advance to the second level, right? Yes, as long as 30 advanced sacrifices are sacrificed, the Sun God will advance. 30 advanced sacrifices, this is not difficult. Linyong calculated and found that today alone, he had sacrificed 2 advanced sacrifices. Almost by completing a system task, you can obtain an advanced sacrifice. The number of system tasks he completed today is 3. If calculated based on this situation, in about 10 days, he will be able to sacrifice 30 advanced sacrifices, and his Sun God will be able to advance to the second state. The system distributes tasks randomly. It does not just distribute 3 tasks a day, so the host please do not be too optimistic. Linyong didn't pay much attention to it. Even if the system didn't dispatch 3 system tasks a day, the number of 30 tasks was not a lot. In addition, he has already sacrificed 2 advanced sacrifices, and there are only 28 left. Even if the system does not play cards according to the routine, 1 or 2 months will be enough. By the way, system, after the Sun God advances to the second state, can I use the power of the gods? Also, what exactly is the power of the Sun God? Linyong asked. Yes, when the number of advanced sacrifices reaches 30, the Sun God will advance to the second state, the Sun God's regular form, the winged dragon form. At that time, you will be able to use the power of the Sun God, the flame of God. God's flame. Linyong took a breath. If he remembered correctly, it seemed to be the special flame of the Sun God. It was very powerful, a golden flame that could instantly burn everything to ashes. Linyong thought for a while. Compared with the flame power condensed by the fire talent, the flame of God should be much stronger, right? Yes, the power of God's flame is 1,000 times stronger than the flame condensed by the fire talent. 1,000 times stronger. Linyong was a little speechless. However, he was not very clear about the power of the flames condensed by the ordinary fire talent, so he did not have much idea about this, 1,000 times the power, so he asked, System, can you clearly describe the power of the God's flame? Quote, Don't ask, just ask and you will be invincible. Linyong was very happy. This system was something he had read online novels. This description was quite down to earth. Not to mention, he quite likes it. Having traveled through time, I must be invincible. Otherwise, I would still have to suffer when I traveled through time and play with a bird's egg. By the way, system, the third form of the sun god, which is the final form, is the phoenix of God, right? Yes, the final form of the sun god is the phoenix of God. Then what are the enhancements of the third form compared to the second form? At that time, what power of the God's phoenix can I use? Linyong was wondering, would it be like in the anime, where humans and gods could become one, and eventually he would transform into a phoenix? To obtain the detailed information of the third form, the sun god needs to advance to the second form, otherwise the permissions are not enough to obtain it. Does this thing require permissions? Isn't it too tricky? Linyong curled his lips, but didn't get too entangled. Judging from the information he has obtained so far, as long as the sun god is advanced to his second form, he will be almost invincible. The final form, God's phoenix, is just the icing on the cake, so don't be too nervous. The next morning. Wow, it's really you. Ha 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 ha. What are you doing? What are you doing? The alarm clock rings. Linyong turned off the alarm clock on his mobile phone and got up to wash up. After breakfast, Linyong changed into his graduation uniform and set off for school. Arriving at the school gate, Linyong parked his bicycle in the shed, and Su Yuyan also arrived. Morning, Linyong. Su Yuyan came over to say hello to Linyong. Morning Yuyan. It seems like you are in a good mood today. Oh, you can see this. The two chatted and laughed and walked into the campus together as usual. Many classmates also came in together, and many of them were discussing Linyong. The reason is very simple. When Linyong and Songjun had a conflict yesterday, a classmate happened to take a photo of Linyong hitting Songjun with his palm, and it was also posted to the school forum, attracting the attention of many students. Therefore, Linyong is not only famous in the third grade of high school, but students in other grades also know how powerful Linyong is. He can actually kill a genius in one move, which is extremely explosive. Look there, that's Songjun who was knocked down by senior brother Linyang's move, right? Haha, he looks so funny, his hair is still curly, like an afro. Shish, keep your voice down. I heard that senior brother Songjun is very petty. If he hears it, you will be in bad luck, don't you know? On the other hand, Songjun was criticized and even laughed at by many students. Songjun was so angry that his face turned black. Maid, which fool is spreading rumors about me on the forum? He said that I was jealous of Linyong. If you let me know, I have to break his legs. No, it's all the fault of that fool Linyong. Yes, if it hadn't been for him, I wouldn't have made a fool of myself in public. It's all his fault. Songjun looked like he was gritting his teeth. It's okay, Mr. Jun. Although Linyong can now use the power of thunder, which is a little more powerful than you, don't forget that the talent he awakened in the awakening ceremony is only D level, and he cannot apply for those first-class universities. On the other hand, Jun, since you are an S-level Earth major, you can have a role in the Magic City University and even the Imperial City University. When the time comes, you will be able to easily catch up with or even overtake him. When you graduate from college, Mr. Jun, you will definitely be 10 or 100 times better than Linyong. Yes, young Master Jun, don't worry. When he comes back from winter vacation next year, you can beat him every minute. Then it won't be too late to take revenge. The two doglegs behind him were helping Songjun regain his respect. Songjun's face became a little better now, and he snorted coldly. Let him play for a while first, and wait until I go to Shanghai University to study for a semester, and come back during the winter vacation to see if I don't mess with him. In fact, Songjun is not blindly optimistic. There is a reason why he and the two losers can say that. Schools with different grades, such as top universities, key universities and ordinary universities, can provide students with almost completely different spiritual resources. Take Modu University, which Songjun wants to apply for, as an example. Modu University is a top university. The cultivation resources it provides to students every semester are almost 3 times that of key universities, and 10 times or even 20 times that of ordinary universities. Song Jun was sure that with Linyang's D-level suspected food department, he might not be able to apply to a better general university, and he would most likely have to go to some private pheasant universities in the end. The training resources of Pheasant University are even more pitiful, probably not even half of those of ordinary universities. Under such a huge difference in training resources, no matter how good your qualifications and talents are, it will be difficult to achieve high achievements. Comparing top universities to Pheasant universities, he wins. Not far ahead, several students from the student union were putting up posters. The big poster posted was the awakening list for yesterday's awakening ceremony for the 3rd grade of high school. The schools they were admitted to will be filled in later, which is regarded as the Wall of Honor. The 1st and 2nd grade students were very interested and gathered around to watch. Master Jun, the awakening list is out, shall we go and take a look? The 2 doglegs were also a little interested. They have all awakened the A-level Superman system. Not only are they on the list, but they should also be ranked very high. Their vanity is exploding and they will definitely not let go of this opportunity to show off. It's just the awakening list, what's there to see? Song Jun looked bored, but when he saw Linyong in front of him, he immediately turned black with anger. Someone has been admitted in advance to a top university. Tito University. I went and was admitted to Tito University in advance. Isn't this awesome? At this time, there were many exclamations from the poster. Master Jun, did you hear that just now? It seems that someone was admitted to Imperial University in advance. The 2 doglegs heard it. It should be Su Yuyan. In her situation, it's not unusual for her to be admitted to Imperial University in advance. Song Jun was not surprised at all. After school yesterday, many schools called him and extended olive branches to him, including even top universities like Tiandu University. However, his goals were Imperial University and Shanghai University, so he didn't consider them. Su Yuyan was better than him in terms of qualifications and awakened talent. It was simply not normal to be admitted in advance to top universities such as Imperial University and Magic University. There seems to be another classmate here who was admitted in advance. Is this actually Linyong who has awakened the D-level food department? Oh my god, he was actually admitted to the Gods Training Academy. The Academy of Cultivation of the Gods. Isn't that the most secretive top university that defeated Imperial University in the College Student Awakening competition for 2 consecutive years? Senior brother Linyong was admitted in advance by it. This is awesome. At this time, there was another commotion from the poster. Holy crap, did I hear that right? Linyong was admitted to the Gods Cultivation Academy in advance. The 2 losers heard it, and they were all shocked. Master Jun, I heard that Linyong seems to have been admitted to the Gods Cultivation Academy in advance. How about we go over and have a look? Linyong was admitted to the Gods Training Academy in advance. How is this possible? Song Jun frowned, obviously not convinced. Even if he can use the power of thunder now, the talent he awakened in the awakening ceremony was only AD level suspected food system, and the talent information submitted must be AD level talent. How is it possible for the Gods Training Academy to admit AD level talent awakener in advance? Master Jun, why don't we go over and take a look? In the end, Song Jun couldn't suppress his inner curiosity and walked over with his 2 losers. There were many students watching, but the 3 of them still squeezed into the very back. The poster is very large, and the awakening list on it is so densely packed that it is difficult to read it at a glance. But the 3 of them were not stupid. They knew that the awakening list was arranged according to the level and type of the awakened talents, so they looked directly at the end. Master Jun, I found it, here. Where? Under a dog-legged instruction, Song Jun immediately came forward. The content of that column is, Linyong, Class 33, Grade D, suspected of Food Department blank has been admitted to the Gods Training Academy. Really admitted to the Gods Training Academy in advance. How is this possible? Song Jun was dumbfounded on the spot. Chapter 11. Hell, this is actually true. The 2 losers also looked in disbelief. They were puzzled. But why? Could it be that Linyong used the power of thunder yesterday and the school modified his talent information? But this is not right either. The school should have already submitted the roster at that time, right? Doesn't it mean that once the talent information is submitted, it cannot be modified? How could this happen? Song Jun was so angry that he gritted his teeth and punched the poster. Originally, he wanted to study in a top university in the future and catch up with or even surpass Linyong. But now, Linyong was admitted in advance to the Gods Training Academy, which was not inferior to Imperial University. His hopes were shattered. It was also a coincidence that the scene of Song Jun hammering the poster was seen by the dean who was supervising the student union's pasting of posters. He couldn't help but frown. Hey, student Song Jun, what are you doing? I haven't even put up the poster yet. You are causing destruction here. You were hit by a lightning strike from classmate Lin Yang yesterday and you still want to have a taste of my iron fist, right? Ha 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 ha. Many students around him burst into laughter. Song Jun's face turned dark at that time. After all, he was the only outstanding graduate in the school who had awakened his S-level talent, but now he was reduced to being ridiculed by his teachers and ridiculed by his classmates. He knew that it was all because of the thunder in Lin Yang's palm yesterday that made him lose face, and that was why he ended up like this. Song Jun and the other three walked out of it in disgrace. Song Jun seemed to have suffered a serious blow, and they all had doubts about life. This D-level talent of the Mud Horse was admitted in advance to the Gods Training Academy. Why on earth is this? Feeling that there was no chance of surpassing Lin Yang, Song Jun could only stare at Lin Yang with an annoyed look on his face. Lin Yang was not blind. He was a little happy when he saw Song Jun looking like he had stepped on dog shit. Is this idiot still thinking of coming here to cause trouble? Or is it that you have awakened some strange attributes and want to seek abuse? Lin Yang, your early admission to the Gods Training Academy seems to have caused a big sensation. Su Yuyan had already heard about this from Lin Yang when they met just now. Now she saw that the poster was surrounded by people on 3 levels, with all kinds of discussions about Lin Yang, and she couldn't help but laugh. He joked. There is no way. Who made the talent I awakened in the awakening ceremony be judged as a D-level talent? It must be shocking for a D-level talent awakener to be admitted to a top university in advance. Lin Yang could see clearly that if the judgment of his talent at that time was accurate, Super S-level, or an S-level like Su Yuyan, then everyone would not be so surprised now. Genius attracts attention, that is normal operation. Only a loser's counterattack can shock people. After filling out the application form, the graduation ceremony begins. As the news about Su Yuyan's early admission to Imperial University and Lin Yang's early admission to the Gods Cultivation Academy spread, various media outlets in Qianding City got wind of the news. Originally, Lin Yang and Su Yuyan had received special awards from the school at the graduation ceremony, and now there were a lot of media reporters surrounding them for interviews. There was no doubt that the two of them had become the absolute protagonists of the graduation ceremony, and even the limelight was somewhat suppressed. Got past the principal, classmate Lin Yang, you, a D-level talent awakener, were admitted in advance to the Gods Training Academy, which is not inferior to Imperial University. How did you do it? Classmate Lin Yang, I heard that you seem to have more than one talent. You also used the power of the thunder talent yesterday. Is this true? Do you have dual talent? Classmate Lin Yang, I just heard some classmates say that you were weak before. Is that true? Why don't you look weak now? If you observe carefully, you can find that reporters ask Lin Yang more questions. Of course, there is a reason for this. Compared with Su Yuyan, the interview with Lin Yang, a loser whose awakening success rate is only 1,000th, but who successfully counterattacked in the end, is obviously more topical and more eye-catching. Not far away, many girls saw Lin Yang being interviewed by a group of media reporters, dazzling like stars holding the moon, and they all showed nymphomaniac expressions. Is it my imagination? Why do I feel that classmate Lin Yang is getting more and more handsome? And his whole body seems to be shining, so dazzling. Classmate Lin Yang's conversation and behavior are so calm and mature. I find that I seem to like him. What should I do? Does classmate Lin Yang have a girlfriend? I really want to confess to him after the graduation ceremony, but I just don't know if he will accept me. All the school leaders looked at Lin Yang and Su Yuyan over there with pride on their faces, especially the principal, who was full of praise for Lin Yang when being interviewed by a reporter. Yes, I have known for a long time that classmate Linyong is definitely not a thing in the pool. Just like yesterday when he was judged to be AD-level talent in the awakening ceremony, I didn't believe it at all. No, not long after school, he awakened the thunder element and was able to use the power of the thunder element freely. This shows how accurate my vision is, right? Classmate Linyong is really a rare genius. Ha ha ha. Tisk, you know how to take credit after the fact. Wu Peishui next to her almost couldn't help but roll her eyes. She curled her lips and said, "When I complained to you, why didn't you go discuss it with the people from the Awakened Association?" But now she looked at Linyong and Su Yuyan, who were surrounded by the media, and smiled happily. As a class teacher, she was very happy when she saw students in her class being admitted to top universities in advance and becoming famous. That Linyong stole all my limelight. Song Jun in the audience was so angry that he gritted his teeth. Originally, according to the school's past practice, any student who has awakened S-level elemental talents can go on stage to receive awards. But this time, due to the special situation of being admitted to a top university in advance, and Linyang's counterattack deeds were too sensational, attracting many media reporters to interview him, he became an S-class earthly genius. Nobody cares. Song Jun was extremely depressed. He felt that he should be the most shameful S-class genius among all the graduates of all time. Are you smelly? The end of the graduation ceremony means the end of high school career for all senior students. Naturally, some people are happy and some are sad on this day. Those students who have awakened their talents are all looking forward to their college life in a week. As for those students who did not awaken their talents in the awakening ceremony, most of their faces were gloomy. After all, they could not look forward to their future college life like other students. In the final analysis, if they cannot awaken their talents, they cannot enter martial arts, and they cannot even apply for college applications. They can only become ordinary people at the lowest level. But there is nothing we can do about it. In this world where the strong are respected, ordinary means weak. And being weak is the original sin in this world. During the 7-day holiday after the end of their high school careers, most students who had completed their applications were waiting at home for admission notices. But Linyong was far ahead of them. On the afternoon of the second day after his high school career ended, he packed his luggage, and then at the urging of his parents, he took the suitcase and set off for the Gods Training Academy. Soon, Linyong arrived at the subway station with his suitcase. The location of the Gods Training Academy is in Guangzhou City next door, not too far away. Take the Guangqin Metro there, which takes about 20 minutes, which can be said to be very convenient. After arriving at the station, Linyong walked out of the subway station. Because he had a handsome face and walked out of the Gods Station, specially designed for the Gods Training Academy with a suitcase, he immediately attracted the attention of many girls around him. Hey, look at that handsome guy. At his age, he came out with a suitcase. Do you think he is the latest freshman of the Gods Training Academy? That's right. Otherwise, why would you come out of the Gods Station with your suitcase? That's not right. Didn't the awakening ceremony just end 2 days ago? The admission notice shouldn't be sent out so soon, right? Maybe they are just here for a visit, huh? Ling, what are you doing? It's nothing. I just think that brother is quite handsome and he's my type. So it's okay for me to have a WeChat account, right? Maybe he can eat young grass. The girl named Ling had a bad smile on her face and said that she was about to walk over and ask Linyong for her contact information. Click bang. However, at this moment, the ground around him suddenly burst open, and then something knocked off the manhole cover of the sewer. Then, 3 huge black shadows crawled out. Linyong was startled for a moment. He quickly looked over and realized that it was 3 rats crawling out of the sewer. No, to be precise, those are no ordinary mice, they are so huge that they can even rival an adult lion. Linyang's expression suddenly changed. It's a ferocious beast. According to the memory that comes to mind, these giant rats are the most common 1-star beasts in textbooks, red-eyed rats. They can reach 2 meters in length and weigh more than 200 kilograms, and are good at digging holes. Their claws are so sharp that they can easily crush cement and even tear open iron doors. In addition, the bite force of their mouths is also terrifying, and their huge teeth can even bite through thick trees in one bite. If an ordinary person encounters a red-eyed rat, unless he can run away in time, he will definitely die. It's a red-eyed rat. A red-eyed rat ran out of the sewer. The passers-by around also saw it, and their faces changed with fright. The beast is extremely cruel and feeds on humans. Yes, ferocious beasts appear in urban areas, but they will attack humans. After the 3 red-eyed rats crawled out, they quickly locked on Linyong, who was closest to them, and rushed towards Linyong one after another. The ferocious beast is going to eat people, run away. The passers-by around were ordinary people. They did not have the strength to deal with the ferocious beasts, so they were frightened and ran away. There are obviously so many people who have to come to me. Is my meat more fragrant or something? Linyong was speechless, but he didn't panic. After all, others didn't have the power to deal with the beast, but he did. If you want to eat me, I have to see if you have the ability. Linyong stretched out his right hand, and as his eyes focused, a raging flame power quickly condensed in his palm. Huge fire ball. Bake. Linyong shouted coldly, and the power of the flames condensed into a huge fireball with a diameter of 3 to 4 meters, and blasted towards the 2 red-eyed rats that rushed over first. The huge fireball suddenly swallowed up the 2 red-eyed rats. Chi. The 2 red-eyed rats were burned crazily, and they made extremely painful sounds. After the thick smoke dissipated, the 2 red-eyed rats were burned to ashes. Linyong was not surprised by the result of the powerful fireball instantly killing the red-eyed rat. After all, this is the characteristic of a 1-star vicious beast, strong on the outside but tough on the inside. Even though their strength and speed are far superior to ordinary animals, their physical strength is not much different, and they cannot withstand damage from S-level elemental systems. This is also the biggest reason why Linyong dared to face the red-eyed rat. He has the B-level fire skill How Fireball and the B-level thunder skill Palm Thunder. Not to mention 3 red-eyed rats, even 30 of them are not something he is afraid of. Oh my god, that handsome guy, he actually killed 2 red-eyed rats with one move. It's amazing. But isn't he just a high school graduate who comes to visit the Gods Training Academy? At this stage, he should not have entered martial arts yet, right? Why can he use his innate power? Brother is so handsome, and his fireball is so good. The girls were all shocked by Linyang's strength, and 2 of them turned into nymphos. Chi. The remaining red-eyed rat seemed to be a little panicked. It turned around and ran away, as if it wanted to escape back to the sewer. Thunder in the palm. Linyong would not give the red-eyed rat a chance to escape. He pushed with his right palm, and a surge of lightning power shot out, hitting the red-eyed rat steadily. Chi. The red-eyed rat screamed, and after being struck by the palm lightning, it flew more than 1 meter, fell to the ground, covered in smoke, and could no longer move. Ah, that handsome guy can actually use the power of lightning. Isn't this amazing? Dual Element Awakener, and the awakened ones are all S-level elements. Oh my god, how can he be so powerful? Brother is so handsome that I can't help but cry. Those girls were once again so handsome by Linyong. They all turned into nymphomaniacs and were so fascinated by Linyong. Just when they couldn't help but want to rush up and ask Linyong for WeChat, a hearty voice sounded. I didn't expect, junior brother Linyong, you haven't even gone to college yet, and you are already so good. It's really impressive. People are shocked. Linyong turned around and found a young man wearing a student union uniform walking over. The man also wore a work badge on his chest. The president of the student union of the Gods Training Academy, Zhuge Cheng. Oh my god, isn't that person the student union president of the Gods Training Academy, President Zhuge? Why is he here? Didn't you hear? President Zhuge just called that handsome guy, junior brother, which means that President Zhuge is here to pick up this handsome guy. If you put it like that, is that handsome guy really a new student at the Gods Training Academy? I heard that President Zhuge seems to be a 3rd-level awakened person, one of the top 3 strong men in the sophomore strong list, and now he personally comes out to pick him up. How big a deal is this? The girls seemed to recognize the young man, and their expressions became a little shocked. Linyong also saw the work badge on Zhuge Cheng's chest, and he couldn't help but be a little surprised. In fact, Zhou Lin mentioned to him last night that students would be specially sent to pick him up, but he didn't expect that he would actually send the president of the student union. What an exaggeration. Linyong walked up and politely extended his hand. your senior brother Zug who came to pick me up, right? Hello. Zug Qing shook hands with Linyong and said with a smile, junior brother Linyong was a little surprised when we encountered a ferocious beast when we first arrived. After all, Guangzhong City is not as peaceful as Qianding City. There are 3 occupied areas in the city. Fortunately, it's just a red-eyed rat that ran out of the sewer. I can barely deal with it. In fact, Linyong was a bit modest. With his current B-level Thunder skill Palm Thunder and B-level Fire skill How Fireball, he could kill 2-star vicious beasts. As for the vicious beast running out of the sewer, he wasn't too surprised. Even though the vast majority of ferocious beasts gather in occupied areas, occasionally some rat and beetle-like ferocious beasts that are good at digging holes will appear in urban areas, and there are many news reports on incidents of such ferocious beasts. Obviously, you just awakened your talents yesterday, and now you can release the power of thunder and fire to kill ferocious beasts. Junior brother Linyong, your god-type talents are not simple. Zug Qing looked appreciative. This actually made Linyong a little surprised. He didn't expect that Zug Qing actually knew that his talent was the divine system. He was wondering if it was because Zug Qing was the president of the student union and had close contacts with the school, so he knew about his situation. Zug Qing is worthy of being the president of the student union. He is very good at dealing with people. On the way to take Linyong to the God's Cultivation Academy, he didn't stop talking, and he also chatted happily with Linyong. A few minutes later, Linyong finally arrived at the God's Training Academy. There are not many students on campus. According to Zug Qing, the sophomores and juniors are currently on summer vacation and most of them have gone home. Only the students from the school and the student union are still at school. The school is starting to admit new students, and the student union is making preparations to welcome new students. Zug Qing answered the phone. Dean, I have picked up junior brother Linyong to the school. Okay, I understand. After hanging up the phone, Zug Qing looked at Linyong. Junior brother Linyong, the dean and junior sister Saidong are already waiting for us. Let's go there quickly. Linyong was stunned for a moment. Vice President Zhou Lin is waiting for him, he knows this. But now, even the dean is waiting for him. Isn't this a bit too big? After all, the God's Training Academy is not some crappy pheasant university, but a top-notch university that is comparable to the Imperial Capital Academy, the strongest university in the country. Which student admitted to this school is not a genius among geniuses? Even the dean of the school was waiting for him, which shocked him. Also, who is junior sister Saidong? Why is she waiting for me too? After a while, under the leadership of Zug Qing, Linyong went to the Academic Affairs Building. There were 2 people standing on the first floor of the Academic Affairs Building. Judging from their movements and the way they looked over, they seemed to be waiting for Linyong. 1 male and 1 female respectively. That girl is very beautiful, with bright eyes, good eyesight, smooth skin, and outstanding appearance. She can even surpass those female stars in the entertainment industry. And the most rare thing is that she is a girl from the Lolos tribe. His turquoise eyes and long silver hair give him an exotic feel. The silver-haired girl blinked her beautiful big eyes. She seemed to be sizing up Linyong with a curious expression. Linyong was a little surprised. This was the first time he saw the Lolos tribesmen with his own eyes. The Rolos are a relatively rare race in the Blue Star Sha Kingdom. They are gifted from the moment they are born. I remember the textbook described that people from the Lolos tribe can awaken those super rare talents, such as elf-type talents, fantasy beast-type talents, etc., which are extremely unique existences. The man seems to be of the Rolos tribe, and his eyes and hair color are the same as those of the silver-haired girl. However, his appearance is not as outstanding as that of the silver-haired girl. He has a middle-parted hairstyle and an ordinary appearance. He crossed his hands in front of his chest, pulling him like a 250-year-old, and stared at Linyong, his face full of displeasure and obvious hostility. Junior sister Saidong, aren't you in the dean's office? Why are you down here? Zug Qing walked up to the silver-haired girl in surprise. Junior sister Saidong. It turns out that she is the junior sister Saidong that senior brother Zug mentioned. She is quite beautiful. Linyang's eyes fell on the silver-haired girl, and he was a little curious as to why the silver-haired girl was waiting for him. According to what Dad said, Linyong will be my partner for the next 3 or 4 years. We will practice together and experience together, and we will spend a long time together. The silver-haired girl said matter-of-factly, now that he has arrived at the Gods Training Academy, I will definitely come down to pick him up. Practicing together and experiencing together. What is going on? Linyong was a little confused. Zhuge Qing nodded. He looked at the man with a middle-parted hairstyle, his expression vaguely cautious. Luo Meng, why are you here? Are you here to cause trouble? Zhuge Qing, are you too narrow-minded? I'm just here to welcome new classmates. How could you think of me so badly? The man with the middle-parted hairstyle smiled faintly and walked towards Linyong step by step as he spoke. You are the Linyong that the dean mentioned, the Linyong who has awakened the divine system like Saidong, right? After hearing what Luo Meng said, Linyong suddenly realized that it turned out that Vice President Zhou said before that there were people in the Gods Training Academy who had awakened the talent of the gods, and he was talking about this silver-haired beauty. So, after starting college, I will be in the same class as this silver-haired beauty and become partners. Linyong began to understand why the silver-haired girl was waiting for him. Yes, I am Linyong, hello. Linyong was about to nod, but unexpectedly at this moment Luo Meng suddenly raised his fist and punched Linyong in the cheek. How come you, an awakened loser, want to live with Saidong? You don't deserve it! Exclamation mark exclamation mark exclamation mark. Linyang's expression changed. He didn't expect the man with the middle-parted hair to suddenly attack him. Even if he has an ugly haircut, he still makes such a despicable sneak attack. He is simply a scumbag. Boom. There was a muffled sound in the air, but the middle-parted man's fist did not hit Linyang's cheek. It was blocked by Zhuge Qing beside Linyong. Zhuge Qing held the middle-parted man's wrist tightly, and he frowned. Luo Meng, do you know what you are doing? The silver-haired girl was also frightened. She walked up quickly, her face becoming a little gloomy. Luo Meng, are you crazy? Do you know how important classmate Linyong is to me? You hurt him, what should I do? Linyong was stunned at that time. Important to you? What should you do if I get hurt? To be honest, this is a bit sudden, old man. Even if it is rare to be an awakened god, and we will get along with each other as classmates or even partners in the future, it is not such an exaggeration, right? Saidong, don't be deceived by him. What he awakened is not a god at all, it's just an egg. Luo Meng had a look of disdain on his face, and I have also inquired about his situation in Qianding number 1 middle school. He is just a loser with only a 1,000th chance of awakening, and his body is so weak that he can't even move a desk. How could he? Maybe I've awakened the Super S-level god system just like you. After hearing this, Linyong couldn't help but want to laugh. He had gone out of his way to inquire about it, but he still didn't know that the young master had now made a perfect counterattack. His ability to inquire about information was too bad, right? Task: beat up Luo Meng. Reward: obtain an advanced sacrifice. It's just a fluke. King Xiaobai, unlock the A-level thunder skill, 3000 thunder. Hiss. A-level skills, 3000 thunder. Linyang's eyes suddenly lit up. As a senior internet bookworm, how could he not know about 3000 thunder movements? That was one of King Xiaobai's unique skills in the early and middle stages. It was a low-level physical fighting skill at the Earth level. In terms of speed alone, it could even rival the mid-level fighting skills at the Earth level. It can definitely be said to be a must-have skill for killing people, stealing goods, and saving people from running away. Luo Meng, don't be so self-righteous. Don't you think you can see more accurately than me? Luo Saidong sneered. Besides, if you specifically inquired about it, it must be accurate information. Luo Meng's face was a little ugly, but he had no intention of arguing with Luo Saidong. He just wanted to vent his anger to Linyong. But unfortunately, now Zhuge Qing and Luo Saidong are blocking him, and he can't move Linyong. Luo Meng thought for a while and decided to use the method of provoking generals. He looked at Linyong and sneered. You just hide behind others like a grandson. Why are you so useless? If you have the ability. Zhuge Qing frowned and turned his face, wanting to remind Linyong not to be provoked. However, before he could speak, Linyang's fist had already been thrown out and hit Luo Meng hard on the nose. Ah! Luo Meng screamed in pain, and he was beaten back 5 or 6 steps. Zhuge Qing didn't know that Linyong was performing a system task. Everyone else was dumbfounded. They didn't expect Linyong to be provoked so easily. When he looked at Linyang's conversation and behavior before, he felt that Linyang's IQ and EQ were quite high, so he probably didn't have that kind of impulsive personality. Luo Meng was so painful that he almost shed tears. When he found that his nose was bleeding, he was even more angry and gritted his teeth. "Maid, how dare you hit me? What's wrong with hitting you?" Linyong sneered. "Forget it. If you glare at me, you still provoke me again and again. If the tiger doesn't show off its power, you will treat me as a hello, right? If you can get mission rewards by taking action, Linyong will definitely take action." Moreover, he was not a good-tempered person to begin with, but now that he has traveled through time and gained a golden finger to counterattack, does he still have to swallow his anger and become a ninja turtle when provoked? Apart from anything else, Luo Meng's punch just now, if Zhuge Qing hadn't blocked it in time, would have probably sent him to the hospital. How can this be tolerated? Can you bear with your grandma's legs? The mission is completed, and you get the advanced sacrifice. It's just a fluke, King Xiaobai, and unlock the A-level thunder skill, 3000 thunder. It's finally here, A-level skills. Linyong is so excited. He already has high destructive attack skills such as Palm Thunder and Fireball. Coupled with the top-level movement skill 3000 thunderbolts he has now obtained, he is simply invincible. On the altar of the Sun God, a rag doll wearing a black cloak and carrying a big black ruler appeared on the altar. The holy fire burned and engulfed the rag doll in one fell swoop. 30 years in Hedong, 30 years in Hexi, don't bully young people into poverty. A determined voice sounded. The power of the rag doll floated up, and was eventually absorbed by the huge golden egg in midair. Sizzle. Linyong suddenly felt a terrifying force surge inside his body, and he couldn't help but take a breath. Is this King Xiaobai's 3000 thunderbolts? It's really cool. Linyong was very satisfied with the system's rewards this time. Finally, it's not a B-level skill anymore. After all, if you sacrifice one advanced sacrifice, there will be none. If you don't get some advanced skills, it will be really a waste. Hiss. After Zhuge Qing heard what Linyong said, he couldn't help but take a breath on the spot. Oh my god, is junior brother Linyong so tough? I can't tell. Luo Sidong also looked a little surprised. Seeing Lin Yang's harmless face, she thought Linyong was a sunny and cheerful boy. The ones from Maler Gobi are so cute. Luo Meng was so angry that his teeth were almost broken when he was treated so harshly by a young boy who had just arrived. Okay, very good. But let me tell you, if you dare to hit me, Luo Meng, you are finished. Luo Meng shouted angrily, and he rushed towards Linyong like a bullet. Zhuge Qing was about to stop Luo Meng, but found that Luo Meng suddenly changed direction and rushed in front of him. Things that are in the way, get out of my way. Luo Meng whipped his leg towards Zhuge Qing's face. Exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark. Zhuge Qing's expression changed, and with no room to escape, he had no choice but to raise his arms to block it. Boom! The air trembled, and Zhuge Qing was so shocked that he scraped against the ground and retreated 3 to 4 meters, which was enough to show how terrifying the strength of Luo Meng's kick was. I'm afraid it can reach thousands of kilograms. This is the strength of the quasi-third-year students at the Gods Training Academy. No one will protect you now, you are finished. After successfully forcing Zhuge Qing back, Luo Meng raised a vicious smile on his lips and immediately rushed towards Linyong. Oops! Zhuge Qing's expression changed drastically. At this distance, he had no time to rush over to protect Linyong. Lin, this is the price you will pay for contradicting me. Go to the hospital and lie down for a few months. Luo Meng had already rushed in front of Linyong. He shouted angrily and raised his fist to hit Linyong on the nose. Luo Meng, how dare you? Luo Sidong gritted her teeth and posed as if she was going to do something. Whoosh! However, at this moment, Lin Yang's figure suddenly disappeared. Exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark. Luo Meng didn't expect that his punch was empty, and he staggered and almost fell. Grandma, what the hell? Luo Meng was dumbfounded. He was obviously going to hit Linyong. Why was he suddenly gone? What's going on? Where has Linyong gone? Luo Sidong was also confused. Zhuge Qing was also a little confused, and he looked around. The next second, he seemed to see something extraordinary. and his eyes widened in shock. Oh my god, this is fake. Zhuge Qing saw Lin Yang's position first. At this time, Linyong had gone 10 meters away and sat on the edge of the guardrail with a leisurely expression. Luo Sidong also noticed the next second. Her mouth opened slightly, and she was also shocked by Linyong. What's going on? When did he get there? Luo Meng finally figured out Lin Yang's position through the directions looked by Luo Sidong and Zhuge Qing. He was also a little dumbfounded. He couldn't understand how Linyong avoided his attack in an instant and then went to sit there. Down. It stands to reason that a new student who has not yet entered martial arts practice cannot be so fast. Pulling me into the hospital. Just because of you. Linyong came down from the fence and sneered, it's not that I underestimate you. With your tortoise-like speed, you can't even touch the corner of my clothes. How dare you look down on me? You are looking for death. Luo Meng was so angry that veins appeared on his forehead. He roared and rushed towards Linyong again. I have to say that Luo Meng was actually quite fast, far faster than ordinary people. He rushed in front of Linyong in the blink of an eye. But it's a pity that Lin Yang's 3000 Thunder moves faster. As soon as Luo Meng launched his offensive, Linyong had already gone to other places in an instant. You're from Male Gobi, I don't believe I can't hit you. Luo Meng's face turned black with anger, and his body began to change. As his body grew larger, silver hair grew everywhere on his body. He actually turned into a beastman, similar to a humanoid lion beast, except that the hair on his body was silver. When he struck again, his speed and strength were obviously several times more powerful than before. However, the sad thing is that Luo Meng still can't hit. Linyong, who is now using 3000 thunderbolts, is like a bolt of lightning, so fast that even the top 3 strong men like Zhuge Qing cannot fully capture Lin Yang's movements. No matter how hard he fought, Luo Meng couldn't be beaten, and he couldn't catch up. He was completely reduced to Lin Yang's toy and was played around in circles. Ever since, the scene has become a bit funny. Now Luo Meng looks like a cat chasing a laser pointer. Next to them, Zhuge Qing and Luo Sidong were both shocked by Lin Yang's speed. Oh my god, how can Lin Yang be so fast? Luo Sidong was shocked. His speed is probably comparable to that of a 4th-level powerhouse. No, I think junior brother Lin Yang's speed may have surpassed that of a 4th-level expert. Zhuge Qing also looked extremely shocked. When he saw Lin Yang at the exit of the subway station earlier, he had already keenly noticed that Lin Yang, this junior fellow student, was not simple, but he did not expect that Lin Yang was even more powerful than he imagined. He was simply unfathomable. The duel between Lin Yang and Luo Meng attracted many students to watch. When they saw Luo Meng being played around, they were all shocked. Isn't this Luo Meng, who is 5th on the strongest list in our grade? How can he fight with others? Who was that classmate who fought with Luo Meng? He actually made Luo Meng, who was 5th on the list of strongest juniors, look like a fool. I've never seen him before. Is he a senior in his 4th year? No, he is so fast, my eyes were dazzled by him. No matter how hard he hit, Luo Meng couldn't hit him. He also heard the discussion of the students around him, and suddenly became a little angry. Maid, you can only hide, like a shrinking turtle, can you be more manly and confront me? Quote. After speaking, Luo Meng attacked Lin Yang again. Lin Yang has finished trying the A-level skill, 3000 Thunderbolts. He is very satisfied and feels that it is time to finish. You want to be beaten, right? Okay, I'll make it happen for you. Lin Yang stretched out his right hand, thunder in the palm. Boom! A powerful bolt of lightning struck Luo Meng. Ah! Luo Meng screamed repeatedly, but he was worthy of being the 5th strongest person in the junior strong list. He was not directly knocked away like Song Jun before, but managed to survive. Lin Yang was not surprised either. He could see that Luo Meng's transformation into a silver lion beast was probably due to his talent in the superhuman transformation system. The characteristic of this talent is that after transformation, the speed, power, and physical strength will become several times stronger. As the physical strength increases, naturally, the ability to withstand beatings will also become stronger, and it is normal to be able to withstand one of his palm thunders. Lin Yang didn't panic. He continued to release the thunder in his palm to restrain Luo Meng, and at the same time, he blasted out with his left hand, "Great Fireball." Bake. The bright red firelight illuminated the entire corridor, and a huge fireball with a diameter of 3 to 4 meters was blasted out, directly blowing Luo Meng away. Ah! Luo Meng flew backwards for 5 or 6 meters, and his back hit the wall hard, causing dense cracks in the wall. Luo Meng's eyes turned white and he fell to the ground, unable to get up for a while. This scene shocked the surrounding students. This person actually defeated Luo Meng, who is 5th on the list of the strongest among the juniors. He's so strong. But who is he? Logically speaking, someone who can easily defeat Luo Meng should be very famous in our school. No, didn't you notice that there was a suitcase there? And that person looked to be only 18 or 19 years old. Is there a possibility that that person is actually a new student who just came to school? Freshman, you mean, the guy who easily defeated Luo Meng, who is 5th on the list of the strongest juniors, is a freshman? How is this possible? How can a freshman be so strong? And it's not yet time for freshmen to report, right? I don't know if he is a freshman, but that classmate is so handsome. What should I do if I have a crush on him? Luo Saidong was also shocked, with an unbelievable expression. Oh my god, Linyong, he actually defeated Luo Meng. He was a freshman, and he defeated the top 3 in just 2 moves. Luo Meng, who is ranked 5th on the list, is too strong, right? Moreover, didn't he awaken the divine element? Why can he still use the talents of the thunder and fire elements? Did he awaken the thunder and fire elements in addition to the divine element? This is too exaggerated. Luo Saidong, as a proud daughter of the Lolos tribe who could only be seen in 100 years, was shocked to this extent by others for the first time. Junior brother Linyong, how many secrets are you hiding? Zhuge Qing also had a dumbfounded expression. In fact, he had known for a long time that Linyong was not simple anymore, but for a new student to trick a master like Luo Meng around and defeat him in the last 2 moves, this shocked him. He actually awakened the thunder and fire elements. Over there, Luo Meng had lost his silver lion beast state and returned to his human form. He gritted his teeth and forced himself to get up. What, you still want to continue? Linyong said lightly. Luo Meng gritted his teeth. Even though he seemed to be unconvinced, in fact, among the people present, he was the one who was most shocked by Linyong. After all, he was the one who was teased and beaten. He didn't expect that Linyong would be so strong. This lightning-fast speed, this control of thunder and fire power, probably exceeds that of a 3rd-level awakener. Lin, I admit that I underestimate you. But you are too proud. After all, this is my territory. With Luo Meng's stubborn character, he couldn't easily admit defeat, especially with Luo Saidong watching from the side. Even if he lost to Linyong, he would have to speak harshly. What, your territory, Luo Meng, if you dare, say it again. However, before Luo Meng finished speaking, a majestic voice suddenly sounded. This voice is the deputy dean. The students who were watching seemed to recognize it. They immediately turned their faces and looked towards the place where the sound came from. I saw a middle-aged man wearing a black and red robe and gold glasses walking over. Linyong recognized it at a glance. It was Zhou Lin, the vice president of the Gods Cultivation Academy. It's really the vice president. The students all took a breath, looked serious, and bowed slightly to Zhou Lin. Hello, vice president. Associate Dean. Zhuge Qing and Luo Saidong also bowed politely. On the other hand, Luo Meng's face looked a little ugly. Just when he was about to say harsh words, just when he was about to show off and save some face, the vice dean came. Didn't this interrupt him from casting a spell? Deputy, vice dean. Forced by Zhou Lin's status as the vice president, Luo Meng did not dare to be presumptuous and quickly bowed and saluted. Associate Dean. Linyong nodded slightly to Zhou Lin. I'm sorry, classmate Linyong, I gave you such a bad experience when you first arrived at our school. Zhou Lin sighed. Hiss. Many students around took a breath and were frightened. Holy shit, did I hear that right? Vice Dean, he actually apologized. Who is this classmate? He actually got the vice dean to apologize to him. Isn't this an exaggeration? Luo Saidong and Zhuge Qing had calm expressions and seemed not surprised by this. Zhou Lin turned his head and glared at Luo Meng coldly. Luo Meng, you have embarrassed our Gods Cultivation Academy too much, haven't you? A dignified student about to be a junior was lost by Linyong, a classmate who has not yet entered school. Forget it, you are still not convinced after losing, and you want to shake people up, can you show some face? Zhou Lin poked his heart into every word, which made Luo Meng feel embarrassed. Luo Meng, don't blame me for not warning you. You know this and how important Linyong is. So if you continue to mess with me here, don't blame me for kicking you out of school. Understand yet? Zhou Lin warned seriously. Hiss. The students around were shocked again. Holy shit, did I hear that right? The vice dean actually warned Luo Meng like this because of an ordinary minor conflict. Isn't this too exaggerated? After all, Luo Meng is also one of the geniuses of the Lolos tribe. Quote. I also don't understand. Could it be that this classmate Linyong, in addition to being strong and talented, also has a great background? Does he have a scary background? It's possible. The vice-chancellor is so protective of him. Hey, isn't he the vice-chancellor's illegitimate son? Nima, what the hell is the vice-dean's illegitimate son? Linyong felt a little speechless when he heard this. I know, Vice President. Luo Meng looked embarrassed. You know, why don't you get out? Zhou Lin looked unhappy. Okay, Vice President. Luo Meng had no idea and left in embarrassment. Mr. Lin, just wait for me. After walking out of the Academic Affairs building, Luo Meng turned around and glared at Linyong fiercely. The show was over, and other students around them also walked away one after another. Zhou Lin turned his head and looked at Linyong happily. Classmate Linyong, it seems that we haven't seen each other for only 2 days, right? How come you have become so powerful in just 2 days? Zhou Lin saw the duel between Linyong and Luo Meng just now. With his eyesight, he could naturally see that Linyang's situation was a bit strange. It has only been 2 days since he awakened his talent, but he is already able to defeat Luo Meng, who is 5th on the junior powerhouse list. This situation can be said to be extremely abnormal. No, Deputy Dean, you are wrong. In fact, when you came to my house before, I was already this powerful. Linyong corrected. Is that so? When Linyong said this, Zhou Lin became even more curious. However, he was not in a hurry to get to the bottom of it. Anyway, Linyong had already arrived at the Gods Cultivation Academy. From tomorrow on, he would be a student of his school, and he would have plenty of time to figure out Linyang's secrets. Classmate Linyong, the dean has been waiting for us for a long time. Let's go quickly. Zhou Lin looked at his watch and said. Linyong nodded, and then went to the dean's office with Zhou Lin, Zhu Qing and Luo Saidong. Hello, you are classmate Linyong, right? I am Luo Saidong. Like you, I am both an awakened person with divine talent. Please take good care of me in the future. Okay, take care of me. On the way, Linyong and Luo Saidong got to know each other. In addition, Linyong also inquired about Luo Meng's situation with Zhu Qing and Luo Saidong, and found out that Luo Meng was Luo Saidong's liquor. Well, the pursuer is still very possessive. Kind of. No, suddenly a student who, like Luo Saidong, has awakened the divine system, has arrived. In the future, he will practice with Luo Saidong, go to the enemy-occupied area to practice together, and even live together. Luo Meng felt threatened and naturally wanted to get rid of Linyang's hidden danger in advance. Live together. Linyong was stunned. He was wondering if he heard wrongly. Linyong was about to ask, but at this time, the 4 of them had already arrived at the door of the dean's office. Crunch. As soon as the 4 of them arrived at the door of the dean's room, the originally closed door suddenly opened. Linyong was a little strange. Why did the door open by itself? On the other hand, Luo Saidong, Zhou Lin and Zhu Qing seemed not to be surprised at all and walked in naturally. As soon as Linyong walked in, a middle-aged man sitting on a chair inside stood up, back. Linyong knew that this middle-aged man should be the dean of the Gods Cultivation Academy, but what surprised him was that the dean was also a Lolos tribesman with silver hair and blue eyes. Oh my god, Linyong was a little bit speechless. This was already the 3rd Lolos tribesman he had seen since arriving at the Gods Training Academy. In the past, the Lolos tribe was a rare existence that he could only see in textbooks. The dean came over and said with a chuckle, Classmate Linyong, I've been waiting for you. Just seeing your performance on the 1st floor really opened my eyes. Linyong was stunned for a moment. There seemed to be no surveillance screen in the dean's office, which made him a little strange. Dean, can you see what I am doing on the first floor? Of course you can see it. Dean Luopc showed a mysterious smile. Classmate Linyong, I know you are excellent, but you should not underestimate the dean of a top university. Dean, please stop playing riddles with classmate Linyong, otherwise he will be so curious that he can't sleep at night. Zhou Lin made a joke, and then explained to Linyong. Classmate Linyong, in fact, the dean can see your situation on the first floor here because he has strong spiritual perception. As long as he wants, he can clearly understand the situation within a radius of 500 meters. Spiritual perception is unique to those with awakened elf talents, right? Linyong pinched his chin. Oh, classmate Linyong actually knows. Luopc showed an unexpected look. For example, the elf-type abilities and fantasy beast-type abilities of their Rolos tribe are very partial knowledge. It is difficult to know without going to the library or looking for it on the internet. When I was in junior high school, I was very interested in those rare talents, so I often went to the library to check them out. Linyong said. In the past, his physical weakness prevented him from participating in sports activities, and his introverted personality prevented him from rarely participating in group activities, so most of the time he would go to the library and read various books. He has read through encyclopedias such as the Awakened Talent Catalog and the Ferocious Beast Catalog no less than 5 times. Therefore, no matter how rare the ferocious beast is or how rare the supernatural talent is, he knows it all. I didn't expect that classmate Linyong is not only talented, but also has such a broad range of knowledge. It's really rare. Luopc nodded and asked Linyong and others to sit down. By the way, Dean, I have some questions. I wonder if I can. Linyong couldn't help but said. In fact, he already had a lot of questions from the moment he met Zhuge Cheng. If he doesn't understand this, he might not be able to sleep at night. Classmate Linyong wants to ask, why do we pay so much attention to you as a new student? Not only did we send the president of the student union to greet you, but the vice dean and dean were also waiting for you. It feels a bit exaggerated, doesn't it? Luopc saw Linyang's thoughts. He smiled and said. Linyong nodded. Actually, Vice President Zhou has told you about this before, right? Luopc explained. Classmate Linyong, your arrival is related to a century-old plan of our God's Cultivation Academy, and we must take it seriously. Forehead. Linyong was a little embarrassed at the time. When Zhou Lin told him this before, he thought Zhou Lin was trying to make a pie for him, but he didn't expect it to be true. Dean, I have other questions. Linyong hesitated for a moment, then asked. I just heard from senior brother Zhuge that after enrolling in school, I will live with classmate Luo Saidong. It is not unusual for people with both divine talents to be placed in the same class, in the same group, and even become partners. But living together is a bit of a problem, right? To be a partner is not to be a partner. Oh, I didn't expect you, classmate Linyong, to care about this. Luopc smiled, and he seemed a little surprised. It's such a good thing that beautiful classmates can live together, other boys may not be happy enough. Luopc was thinking that Linyong should be a gentleman if he pays so much attention to these things. However, Luopc was overthinking it. Linyong asked this question just because he was curious. It didn't mean he minded, right? As an adolescent boy with normal orientation, he would not refuse a beautiful woman to live with him, and he would even like to have a few more. I won't hide this from classmate Linyong. In fact, this is part of the century plan we just mentioned. How do you say this? Linyong was a little confused. This allowed me to live with classmate Luo Saidong. Cough cough cough. Living together is also part of the century-old plan. By the way, Dean, what is your century-old plan? Classmate Linyong, what is your divine talent? Luopc suddenly asked. My God-type talent should be the elemental god. Linyong also knew that he would be asked this question when he came to the God's Training Academy, so he was well prepared. He was not lying. In his current first form of the Sun God, he could not use the power of the Sun God and could only obtain abilities by sacrificing advanced sacrifices. At present, he has unlocked Palm Thunder and Powerful Fireball, which is equivalent to obtaining thunder and fire talents. There is a high probability that he will also obtain skills with other attributes in the future. In this way, he can use almost all elemental skills, and he can be regarded as a full attribute elemental awakener. It turns out that Linyang's awakened God-type talent is elemental God. No wonder he is clearly a God type but can use the power of thunder and fire. Luo Saidong nodded, with a surprised expression. Zhou Lin and Zhu Qing also nodded slightly. Elemental God, so, this is why classmate Linyong can have multiple elemental powers. Luo PC seemed to believe Linyang's statement. He paused and glanced at Luo Saidong, who was sitting next to him. Classmate Linyong, you probably don't know what Saidong's divine talent is yet, right? Saidong's divine system is not as magical as your elemental god, classmate Linyong. She can use her natural power not long after she awakens her talent. Her awakened talent is called Goddess of Dawn, which is both a divine system and a superhuman system. Accurate. To put it bluntly, it is somewhat similar to the elves and fantasy beasts, and is an extremely rare branch among the superhumans. As for why Saidong needs to live with classmate Linyong, it is mainly because she, the Goddess of Dawn, needs to accumulate divine attributes in the early stage. But this divine attribute can only be obtained by staying with other awakened gods. Quote, if classmate Linyong doesn't understand, you can try to think of Saidong as a Superman, the Superman from Cho country. She needs to absorb the energy of the sun to become stronger, and God-type awakened ones like you, classmate Linyong, or sun, Saidong needs to absorb the sunlight emitted by you in order to become stronger. After Luo PC explained, Linyong finally understood. It means that this classmate Luo Saidong has to stay with me in order to become stronger, right? This time, he finally understood why Luo Saidong said how important he was before, and what would happen without him. It turned out to be this situation. Thinking of this, Linyong was also happy. Originally, the plot of You Can't Live Without Someone Else was just a bloody drama that only happens in bad domestic love dramas, but he didn't expect it to happen to him now. Moreover, Luo Saidong, who can't live without him, is also a beautiful woman with first-rate looks, which is not too exciting. Classmate Linyong, this is the key to the apartment. Take it. Luo PC handed Linyong a bunch of keys. You don't have to live in the school dormitory like other students. I have arranged an apartment for you. From now on, you can live with Saidong. Hiss. Linyong took a breath, he was a little shocked. So, we are about to start living together. Is this progress too fast? Classmate Linyong, come in. Good. Classmate Linyong, I have already occupied this room. Is it okay for you to live in this room? Facts have proved that Linyong thought too much. What is cohabitation? Just living together. In other words, it is shared housing. The residence arranged by the school for him and Luo Saidong was a 2-bedroom apartment. Classmate Linyong, I have a question to ask you, is it okay? Luo Saidong didn't have anything to say. She chatted with Linyong and helped clean up the room. Okay, just ask. In fact, the room has been cleaned. Now Linyong takes the vacuum cleaner to clean it again. Also, you can just call me Linyong. Linyong, I watched everything you did during the awakening ceremony. I could tell from the light emitting from the awakening stone that your awakening talent was the same as mine, both of the divine system. Luo Saidong asked curiously, but there is one thing I don't understand. Why is your elemental god in a golden egg state? It's really not Luo Saidong's fault. She can't think of the elemental god and the golden egg together. No, that's just its first form. Linyong also revealed some information. Actually, my talent is somewhat similar to yours. They both grow. When it grows to a certain level, its shape will change. So that's it. Luo Saidong nodded. She looked at Linyong with admiration. But Linyong, you are really powerful. You have not yet entered the martial arts practice, but you can defeat a 3rd-level warrior like Luo Meng with just your natural strength. The Awakener. It seemed that because Linyang's previous performance was so shocking, Luo Saidong became a little bit like his little crush. Linyong, I've already packed the desk for you. Just wait for me and I'll get you a bottle of drink. Luo Saidong said and jumped out. To be honest, Linyong was a little surprised. Luo Saidong, as a rare and proud daughter of the Lolos tribe in a century, and the daughter of the dean, has no airs at all and always smiles when she talks. Combined with her current behavior of helping Linyong clean up the house and getting Linyong drinks, it seems that she is still a very cute and considerate girl. Of course, the one who admired Linyong the most was Dean Luo PC. Even if it was because of Luo Saidong's talent, Luo Saidong needed Linyang's irradiation, well, the divine solar energy irradiation. But it would be too much to just let his precious daughter live with him, right? And the most incredible thing is that Luo PC seems to believe him and thinks he is a gentleman. No, is this a compliment? If that's the case, then you're really looking down on me. Are you really afraid that I will abduct your precious daughter? Just as Linyong was thinking about it, Luo Saidong had already walked in. She handed Linyong a drink with a smile, revealing her cute dimples. Linyong, drink. Thanks. Linyong took the drink, and as soon as he took a sip, Luo Saidong came over with another smile. Linyong, are you hungry? Do you want me to cook for you? Linyong felt that the little girl Luo Saidong was a little too positive, but he still accepted it readily. Can you also cook? Actually, I'm not very good at cooking, but I feel a little embarrassed that I have to trouble you all the time in the future, so I want to repay you in these ways. Luo Saidong smiled a little sheepishly. Linyong suddenly realized that he had changed his mind about Luo Saidong again. As the dean's darling daughter, she is also a rare and proud daughter of the Lolos tribe in a century. Not only does she not have any airs or princess temper, but she has a gentle personality, knows right from wrong, and knows how to repay kindness. She is simply a treasure girl. Actually, I don't think you need to be so stressed. Linyong thought Luo Saidong was cute, but he would not take advantage of others. Your talent does require a lot of help from me, but the Gods Training Academy was able to admit me exceptionally because you discovered that I was awakened. God-type talent, so objectively speaking, you are of great help to me. You should have heard of the word, mutual benefit, right? In fact, our situation is almost like that. You help me, and I help you back. It's a win-win situation. There is no such thing as you having to trouble me all the time in the future. Quote. Linyong was telling the truth. He smiled and said jokingly, of course, if you really want me to try your craft, I won't refuse. Hate, I really want you to taste my craftsmanship, but I don't have it. Luo Saidong pouted, but she was a little surprised. She didn't expect that Linyong, a guy who was so aggressive in fighting, could actually have such an understanding side. Luo Saidong turned around. You can continue to pack your things. I'm cooking now. I'll come and call you soon. After saying that, Luo Saidong walked away. Linyong was delighted. Why is this still a bit tsunere? Linyong continued to pack things, and when he was almost done, he could smell the fragrance coming from the kitchen. It smells pretty good. Linyong walked out of the room and immediately walked to the kitchen. At this time, Luo Saidong was making pan-fried pork chops. Look at her wearing an apron, her skillful movements, and her focused expression. Not to mention, she really has 2 brushes. Linyong sighed a little while drinking his drink. This is a shared apartment with a beautiful school beauty. The beautiful school beauty even cooks for himself. This is really... Linyong had a hunch that he would definitely get along very happily with Luo Saidong in the next 4 years of college. Task: let Luo Saidong take off his clothes. Reward: advanced sacrifice, red-haired and dark-rimmed cage, unlocking A-level earth skills, sandstorm burial. Puff. Linyong spit out a mouthful of drink on the spot and almost choked to death. Cough cough cough, cough cough cough. Linyong, what's wrong with you? Are you choking? When Luo Saidong heard the movement, she quickly turned around. Cough cough cough. I'm fine, you continue. Linyong calmed down and then gave Luo Saidong an okay gesture. Okay, then you can wait a little while I cook 2 more dishes, and then you can eat. Luo Saidong didn't pay too much attention. After saying that, she turned back and continued frying the pork chop. Linyong wiped his mouth with a tissue. At this time, there were 10,000 grass and mud horses galloping past him. In fact, he also knows the nature of the system, and he never loses control at critical moments. Normally, 99 times, nothing good happens, but he didn't expect that the system would be so outrageous this time. Asking him to call the dean a fool during the awakening ceremony and asking him to refuse early admission to the Gods Cultivation Academy was already very deceiving. Now, he was actually asked to ask Luo Sidong to take off his clothes. Isn't this a bit outrageous? Linyong knew that this dog system was definitely intentional. But if he is as smart as he is, how could he be tricked by the system? He has decided on this reward. Soon, Linyong found a breakthrough. Linyong walked into the kitchen and came to Luo Sidong. At this time, Luo Sidong had just fried 3 pieces of pork chops and was preparing to make the next dish. Classmate Luo Sidong, give me this. Linyong pointed to the apron on Luo Sidong. Luo Sidong was slightly stunned, not quite understanding what Linyong meant. I think it's a bit unfair to only let you cook alone, so let me cook a dish too. Linyong showed a hearty smile. Well, this time you have to rely on your acting skills. Linyong, actually you don't have to be so polite, you are a guest now. Luo Sidong's face turned bright red. This Linyong was just cooking, what's the point? Luo Sidong was about to say no, but Linyong would not give up for the sake of system rewards. He quickly said with a serious face, Classmate Luo Sidong, if you don't let me show my hand now, I may not have the chance in the future. Quote. Then, that's okay, here you go. Luo Sidong also wanted to try Linyang's craftsmanship, so he didn't insist anymore and obediently took off his apron and gave it to Linyong. The mission is completed, and the advanced sacrifice is obtained. The red-haired and black-eyed Feng Ying unlocks A-level Earth skills and is buried in a sandstorm. The system notification sounds. Linyong showed a sneer. You're such a bad system and you still want to trick me. There's no way. The system asked him to ask Luo Sidong to take off his clothes, but it didn't say that he had to take off all his clothes, just 1.5 pieces. Linyong put on his apron, and at this time, a rag doll with red hair and black eyes appeared on the altar of the sun altar. The sacred fire was lit and the sacrifice began. Love, I voted for a certain Deji. I got too much. A voice sounded from the altar that was cold at first, then confused, and finally became gentle. The rag doll burned out, and a force floated into the air, which was eventually absorbed by the golden egg of the sun god in midair. At that moment, Linyong suddenly felt a surge of power beginning to surge up. This couldn't help but make him a little excited. This time the system is so powerful, it almost gives him the most powerful skill of the advanced sacrifice. If the previous palm mines and fireballs were only mid-range and short-range attack methods for single targets, with average lethality, then this, Sandstorm Burial, is full coverage of near, medium and long ranges, and can achieve single target kills and group kills. A comprehensive and powerful attack method. Linyong has not forgotten how exaggerated the scene in the anime where Gaara performs Sandstorm Burial is. The sand is like a huge wave, making it impossible for people to hide. It is no exaggeration to say that comparing Palm Thunder and Fireball, they are really not on the same level. If Linyong, who had Palm Thunder and powerful fireballs before, could easily kill more than 10 first-order ferocious beasts. Now that he has received the Sandstorm Burial, even if he faces hundreds or even thousands of first-order ferocious beasts, he is not afraid at all, and can even perform one move in seconds. Even though he has not yet entered martial arts practice, with this move, he can defeat even a 4th-level strong man. Linyong, why do you seem so happy? Luo Sidong saw that the corners of Linyang's mouth were twitching as if he were smiling, and she became a little confused. This just asked Linyong to cook. Why was he so happy? No, I just remembered something happy. Only then did Linyong restrain his excitement. Happy thing. Luo Sidong tilted his head, not quite understanding what Linyong was talking about. Linyong didn't say anything more. He cut some ginger and green onions and marinated the chicken. Asking Luo Sidong to take off his apron and say he wanted to help was indeed prompted by the system, but Linyang's principle is that since he said it, he must do it well. Otherwise, it would be very rude to throw the apron back to Luo Sidong just to complete the system task, saying nothing. Luo Sidong next to her was looking at Linyong with her eyes wide, and she was actually fascinated by it. In fact, her initial impression of Linyong was very good. He had potential and strength. He was tough when he should be tough, but he had a caring side when dealing with a girl like her. Moreover, talking seems to be quite interesting. Unlike other boys, because she is the daughter of the dean and is very beautiful, she shows off a flattering look, but she is truly herself. The most important thing is that he looks handsome. In fact, Luo Sidong was a little worried about getting along with Linyong, a god solar irradiator, for a long time before, but now, she feels that she will get along very harmoniously with Linyong in the future. While Luo Sidong was distracted, Linyong had already started frying chicken. The aroma of ginger, onions, and chicken began to spread. Wow, it smells so good. Luo Sidong smelled the fragrance and immediately felt his appetite whet his appetite. Linyong smiled. In his previous life, he had studied Cantonese cuisine, so he was still good at some simple home-cooked dishes. After making this stir-fried chicken with ginger and onion, Linyong picked up the plate and asked Luo Sidong, who looked greedy, to try it. Classmate Luo Sidong, if you want to eat it, you can try it. Linyong, actually you can just call me Sidong. Luo Sidong said. She picked up the chopsticks, picked up a piece of chicken and ate it. Wow, Linyong, your chicken is so delicious. Luo Sidong had a surprised expression on his face. Linyong smiled. Eat more if you like. Next, the two sat down to eat. Linyong, try the fried pork chop I made. You should like it. Linyong, eat broccoli. Luo Sidong would pick up food for Linyong from time to time. She was smiling and very cute. Linyong was a little surprised. This little princess from the God's Cultivation Academy really had no airs at all. How rare. At 8 o'clock in the evening, Linyong and Luo Sidong had already finished taking a shower. Luo Sidong sat on Linyang's bed, with a serious look on her face. Linyong, let's get started. It's this posture, right? Absolutely. In fact, posture is not a problem. You have to find the feeling first, so that you can get into the state. It seems a bit difficult to get into the state. How about I help you first? See if you feel it. Don't get me wrong, Linyong and Luo Sidong are practicing. But at this time, Linyang's expression felt a little painful. At present, his position is generally described as Luo Sidong's God-type solar irradiator. In this case, Luo Sidong wants to practice with him, which he can understand. After all, Linyong exudes the most divine energy when practicing. Luo Sidong can absorb more God-type solar energy by practicing with him, which is also a good thing. But the problem is that Luo Sidong went to his bed to practice, and she also wore a semi-vacuum off-the-shoulder lace pajamas. This was a bit of a test for the veteran cadre. Linyong, you should be able to see the route of energy flow in my body, right? As long as you follow this route and slowly find the feeling, you can enter the state of cultivation. I saw it, it's so big and white, well, the energy flows so smoothly. Linyong, you exhale and shrink back again, what's wrong? It's okay. Maybe I just ate too much and I'm a little stuffed. Linyong, it may be a little difficult to get into the state at first, but if you concentrate, there should be no big problem. Luo Sidong taught patiently. Linyong was a little dumbfounded. Classmate Luo Sidong, you are dressed like this, your breasts are domineering and leaking, how can I concentrate? Linyong shook his head, throwing away all the distracting thoughts in his mind, and finally concentrated his energy. He has a training card in his hand. This was what Dean Lope resigned to him in the afternoon. After unlocking through fingerprints and obtaining personal identity authentication, the spirit can be connected to the practice card and obtain the practice skills. The training card is set with a crystal that emits blue light, which is a spiritual crystal used for training. Linyong now has a total of 10 spiritual crystals on his body, which is his cultivation resource for a month. In addition to spiritual crystals, Linyong also has 10 dedication points every month. Through the dedication points, he can go to the martial arts library to learn talented martial arts skills, and rent weapons and equipment from the spiritual weapon library. This is the special enrollment of the Gods Training Academy, which is rated S level and specially admitted through the special enrollment contract, and has 1 month of training resources. It is 5 spiritual crystals and 5 contribution points per month for ordinary freshmen, twice as many. In addition, food and accommodation are free, and there is a scholarship of 4 million Sha Guiwan every year. Linyong put down the practice card, closed his eyes, and started running the practice route. Soon, Linyang's body began to glow with sacred golden light. Luo Sidong in front of him watched silently, trying not to disturb Linyong by making any noise. She watched the sacred golden light on Linyang's body become more and more brilliant. She was a little stunned at first, and then she was so shocked that she couldn't help but cover her mouth with her hands. Oh my god, half a minute. Linyong actually got into the state completely in half a minute. Luo Sidong is a once-in-a-century genius from the Rolos tribe, and her awakened talent is an unprecedented Super S-level god system. Her qualifications can be said to be very outstanding. But she had spent more than 5 minutes exploring the exercise route before. But now, Linyong has completed the exploration in less than half a minute, and his efficiency is 10 times that of hers. What is this concept? This shows that Linyang's qualifications are far ahead of hers. Luo Sidong lowered her head and looked at the spiritual crystal on Linyang's training card. Although it was not particularly obvious, she still found that the spiritual crystal was getting smaller at a speed visible to the naked eye. Hiss. Luo Sidong took a deep breath, her beautiful eyes widened in shock. She knew that the energy of the spiritual crystal was absorbed by Linyong, but the speed of absorption really scared her. She felt that Linyong could absorb spiritual crystal energy faster than she did. But the problem is, she is the proud daughter of the Rolos tribe. Generally speaking, those who can awaken the S-level element system can already be called a genius. And she, who has awakened the Super S-level god system, is undoubtedly a genius among geniuses. But Linyang's qualifications are much more outstanding than hers. Doesn't it mean that Linyong is a super genius among super geniuses? This Linyong, how could he be so powerful? Luo Sidong looked amazed. She felt a little complicated at this time. On the one hand, as the proud daughter of the Lolos tribe, the genius among geniuses, she found out that there was someone with so much more outstanding qualifications than her, which made her feel a little ashamed and a little bit shocked. On the one hand, she was a little excited. Because to her, Linyong is a god solar irradiator. The stronger the irradiator, the stronger the effect on her body, and the faster she can complete the godly transformation of the goddess of dawn. No, I can't waste any more time, I have to practice with Linyong quickly. Luo Sidong calmed down his excitement and entered a state of cultivation. But after a while, Luo Sidong's eyes widened in shock again. Because she felt that under the irradiation of Linyang's god solar irradiator, not only did her innate god attributes begin to rise, but her cultivation speed also increased. And it's not just a 1-star improvement, it's a full 2 to 3 times. Luo Sidong covered her mouth. She was so excited that she almost couldn't help but talk to Linyong. Linyong, he is indeed very powerful. Now Luo Sidong looked at Linyong with admiration, her beautiful eyes sparkling like a little fangirl. At this time, Linyong opened his eyes and exited the cultivation state. Linyong was about to tell Luo Sidong that he seemed to be able to enter the state of cultivation, and asked Luo Sidong if there was anything else he should pay attention to in the future. However, just as he was about to speak, he noticed that Luo Sidong came forward with an excited look on his face, and looked at him with his big blue eyes, which almost scared him. Linyong, you are so amazing. Luo Sidong's eyes were full of admiration. She wanted to improve her divine attributes again, so she urged, Linyong, don't stop, let's continue, hurry up. ? Am I so awesome? Don't stop, continue quickly. Why does this sound weird? Although he was a little confused, Linyong still nodded and entered the cultivation state again. Luo Sidong also quickly cultivated his state. In the blink of an eye, 2.5 hours passed. It was now 10:30 in the evening. Linyong felt that it was almost done, so he quit the cultivation state. Well, Sidong, it's getting late. Let's continue tomorrow. Linyong said. It's only 10:30. Okay. Luo Sidong pouted, seeming a little reluctant. Linyong didn't know if it was his misunderstanding. He felt that Luo Sidong's resentful little expression seemed a bit lustful and dissatisfied. Oh, you absorbed it so quickly. Linyong picked up the training card and found that the spiritual crystal on it was only the size of a grain of rice, which surprised him. Does he think this spiritual crystal is consumed too quickly? If he had practiced for another half hour just now, he should have been able to completely absorb a spiritual crystal. In this case, he can absorb one spiritual crystal in almost half a day, so his cultivation resources of 10 spiritual crystals a month are obviously not enough. Oh my god. Luo Sidong also saw it, and she was shocked by Linyong again. Linyong, in just a short time, you have absorbed this spiritual crystal. Luo Sidong also had an eye-opening experience. Generally speaking, even an S-level elemental genius can absorb a spiritual crystal in about 7 days. Even though she is known as a once-in-a-century genius of the Rolos tribe, it takes about 3 days to absorb a single spiritual crystal. But now, Linyong has almost absorbed a spiritual crystal in 2.5 hours. The efficiency of absorbing energy is incredible. Luo Sidong looked dumbfounded. In fact, since the spiritual crystals had gradually become smaller at a speed visible to the naked eye, she knew that Linyang's cultivation speed was faster than hers. But I didn't expect it to be so much faster than her. It takes almost 2.5 hours to absorb a spiritual crystal. This efficiency is estimated to be 5 or 6 times that of hers. Well, I don't know, is this spiritual crystal too inconsumable? Linyong himself was a little confused. Luo Sidong pursed her lips. She seemed to want to say something, but she held it back in the end. Linyong, let's continue tomorrow. Good night. After saying this, Luo Sidong got out of bed and left Linyang's room. However, when she returned to the room, she was so excited that she waved her fists repeatedly. Oh my god, how could Linyong be so powerful? No, I have to be calm, otherwise I will always be startled when Linyong sees me, and I will be too embarrassed. Luo Sidong wanted to calm down, but found that he couldn't calm down no matter what. After all, Linyang's super, God-type solar irradiator, brought her too many surprises. It not only quickly improved her god attributes, but also increased her cultivation speed by 2 or 3 times. It is no exaggeration to say that as long as she follows Linyong, she can easily become stronger. Linyong is simply her super thigh. At this time, Luo PC from the dean's office was a little curious about the situation between his daughter and Linyong, so he sent a WeChat message, Sidong, how are you and Linyong doing? Dad, Linyong, he is so awesome. Lope's words. The next morning, 9 o'clock. The East Gate of the Gods Training Academy. Coming. Dean Luo PC looked at Linyong and Luo Sidong walking side by side, and he coughed dryly. Good morning, Dad. Luo Sidong greeted his father with a smile. Morning, Dean. Linyong also nodded to Luo PC. He was about to ask Luo PC why he summoned him and Luo Sidong to the East Gate so early, but found that Luo PC squinted his eyes and looked at him with a very strange look. Hold him. Linyong felt a little nervous when he was stared at, feeling as if he had done something wrong. Well, Dean, what's going on? Dad, don't stare at Linyong like this, Linyong will be embarrassed. Luo Sidong pursed his lips. If you have something to say, just tell me. Girl, it's only the second day, and you're so blatantly helping Linyong speak. Sure enough, women are not allowed to stay in college. Luo PC shook his head. In fact, the reason why he was staring at Linyong like that just now was because he was chatting with his daughter Luo Sidong on WeChat last night and found that out of the 3 sentences his precious daughter said, 2 of them were related to Linyong, and they were all very boastful. This made him wonder, had Linyong abducted his precious daughter? Just now, he was waiting at the East Gate, watching the 2 of them talking and laughing as they walked over. His daughter Luo Sidong's behavior seemed to be a bit friendly, so he knew that he was a bad person. Although it's not particularly obvious, it's more or less obvious. My baby girl seems to be interested in me. As a father who treats his daughter as his treasure, he felt very sad. Ahem, classmate Linyong, you should have practiced last night, right? How did you feel? Luo PC became serious and changed the subject. It feels pretty good. After the round of training last night, I can clearly feel that I have become stronger. Linyong smiled. What he meant by becoming stronger was not the vague concept of becoming stronger, but a real increase in data. Level. Quasi-first level. Strength. 400 kilograms. Speed. 100 meters in 8 seconds. Spirit. 166 Hz E+. Talent. God System, Sun God. Skills. Palm Thunder, Level B Thunder, Fireball, Level B Fire, 3000 Thunder, Level A Thunder, Sandstorm Burial, Level A Earth. The above are his current attributes. After the 2.5 hours of training last night, his level changed from 5 scum to quasi-first level, his strength increased from 100 kilograms to 400 kilograms, and his speed increased from 11 seconds to 100 meters. 100 meters in 8 seconds, the spirit increased from 60 Hz to 166 Hz. This is an all-round improvement. And it is a clearly visible improvement in data, not a strengthening of a vague concept. In addition to the improvement in statistics, Linyang's physical feeling is also very clear. The most intuitive thing is that before he practiced, even if he could kill a 1-star ferocious beast through the skills he obtained from the Sun God Altar system, and even easily defeat the 3rd-level awakener Luo Meng, his physical strength, power, speed, as well as spirit, are quite weak. After more than 2 hours of practice last night, he clearly felt that his body was stronger, more powerful, and lighter. His mind also became easier to concentrate, and he could feel it carefully even with his eyes closed. The movement of things around you. It's amazing. Luo PC nodded. He was about to say something when he saw Linyong approaching with a slightly embarrassed look. Dean, I have something that I don't know whether to say or not. What's up? Luo PC was slightly startled. Dean, I think 10 spiritual crystals a month is not enough. Linyong rubbed the back of his head and said with a smile. What, 10 spiritual crystals are not enough? Luo PC was a little stunned. He thought he heard wrongly. Why is it not enough? 10 spiritual crystals a month should be a lot, right? Well, in fact, I almost consumed 1 spiritual crystal in just 1 practice last night. Linyong laughed dryly. What did you say? You consumed 1 spiritual crystal in 1 practice. Luo PC's eyes widened, and he was a little shocked. Yes, Dean, I made a rough calculation last night. If you practice for 6 hours a day, you will have to consume 2 spiritual crystals. If it takes a month, I'm afraid. Linyong gave Luo PC a, look, and he was a little embarrassed. In short, 10 spiritual crystals are really not enough. Quote. Luo PC was a little dumbfounded, and he quickly looked at his daughter Luo Sidong. Dad, what Linyong said is true, I can testify. Luo Sidong nodded. Linyong can absorb a spiritual crystal after practicing for almost 3 hours. Absorbing a spiritual crystal in 3 hours. Luo PC was dumbfounded. What the hell is this speed of cultivation? Previously, his daughter Luo Sidong practiced for 2 or 3 days to absorb a spiritual crystal, and he felt that she had changed a lot. Absorbing a spiritual crystal in these 3 hours is simply a transformation within a state. He couldn't imagine how terrifying Linyang's qualifications were. Could it be that Linyang's qualifications are even more incredible than Sidong's? Luo PC took a breath, and now, the way he looked at Linyong changed somewhat. Before, he made an exception to admit Linyong, simply so that his precious daughter could be exposed to the godlike sun. Now that he learned that Linyang's talent seemed to be even more incredible than that of his precious daughter, it was a different story. His pick-up behavior allowed them in the God's Training Academy to pick up a talent that is rare to find in 1,000 years. No, it is a super genius that has never been seen before or since. This wave is making a lot of money. Luo PC was a little imaginative. Why is it that the God's Training Academy is clearly not inferior to Tito University, and even surpasses Tito University in terms of performance and success rate in the National Awakening competition, but it ranks 9th and 10th in the country? In addition to the differences in school size and teaching staff, the main reason is that his God's Cultivation Academy has never produced a top powerhouse like the 5 powerful ones. Among the top 5 powerful men in Sha Kingdom, 3 of them came from Imperial University, 1 came from Modu University, and 1 came from Tiandu University. It is because of the endorsement of the 5 powerful people that Tito University and Modu University can firmly stand at the top of the university rankings. Why is Luo Sidong the most important century plan of the God's Cultivation Academy? One of the reasons is that Luo Sidong has outstanding talent, even compared to the 5 strong men when he was young. In this way, as long as they train Luo Sidong well, maybe Luo Sidong can hope to reach the same level as the 5 powerful men. Once it is completed, the God's Cultivation Academy can at least be ranked among the top 5 domestic universities. Now with the appearance of Linyong, it seems that it is no longer as simple as hopeful. Linyang's talent is the Super S-level God system, and he can absorb one spiritual crystal in 3 hours. This talent can surpass Zhuzhou, one of the 5 powerful men, in his youth. No matter how you compare, you will always win, right? The realm that Linyong can achieve in the future will most likely far exceed that of the 5 powerful ones. Coupled with Luo Saitong, in the future, this will allow his God's Cultivation Academy to directly overtake Imperial University and become the strongest institution in Sha Kingdom. Ahem, classmate Linyong, considering your special characteristics, I have decided to give you an additional training resource of 10 spiritual crystals a month. Lope was extremely happy, but he still tried his best to remain calm. He is a dignified dean and has to take his image into consideration. Even if he wants to laugh, he has to hold back. The calm, mature and gentle persona cannot be broken. Can you add 10 more? That's great, thank you, Dean. Linyong was about to be overjoyed, but he immediately realized that something was wrong. Well, Dean, we can only add 10 more. But the amount I need for a day's practice is almost 2 spiritual crystals. 2 coins a day means 60 coins a month. Of course, that's the calculation, but this number is somewhat exaggerated, so Linyong is also a little bit embarrassed to say it. Classmate Linyong, 20 spiritual crystals a month is the limit. Any more will violate the school regulations. As the dean, Luo PC also had his own considerations. There is no problem in distributing more training resources to outstanding students, but it cannot be excessive, otherwise it will violate the principle of fairness. After all, spiritual crystals are not just cucumbers and vegetables from the wet market. They are very precious cultivation resources. One spiritual crystal is worth 100,000 Sha national coins. Of course, even if the school can only provide up to 20 spiritual crystals a month, you don't have to be discouraged, Linyong. Regarding the spiritual crystals, I have plenty of ways to help you solve it. Luo PC smiled and handed Linyong a card. Linyong took the card and looked at it, a little surprised. This is the Brave card. Dean, are you asking me to go to the occupied area to kill the ferocious beast? I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.